What is going on, guys? We are here for day number 3 of the Nova Invitational, obviously brought to you by Order and Logitech, bringing you into the third day, as we've mentioned. My name is Mitch Conky Concannon. Alongside me is Dion Komodo Peralta. Dion, how you feeling? We're finally on the main channel for this run.
We are back together with the Valorant action, of course, as you mentioned, at the Nova Invitational, surrounded by the hot graphics, of course. The production guys always doing a phenomenal job that we've seen. I mean, it's not only across this event, but the other ones as well previously.
No, exactly right, man. It gives me those thoughts back to, obviously, the Oceanic Valorant Open that we did see very, very early on in the game sort of start in this region. But yeah, look, it's always a pleasure to work with these guys. So I'm absolutely stoked to be back. Had a nice little hiatus over in Adelaide, but now I'm back in the Perth chair, ready to throw in some amazing Valorant. So obviously it's been an electric sort of run in those first 2 days. A massive shout out to everyone that did compete in, obviously, the Open and everything on the qualifying run, and now making it all the way through to this event. We are moving into those group stages and everything like that. The exciting times, ready to rock and roll. We've obviously got some electric games tonight. So let's actually check out the schedule. Oh, the prize pool, rather. I was thinking we would have the schedule, but let's see what these players are actually going to be playing for during the course of the competition. Again, look at that. 12 grand brought across the board, Dion, with that 6K sitting at the top.
Some good old cash into the pockets for these players. Of course, we have 8 teams that are going to be competing right now, and the top 4 will be taking home some money guaranteed, but everyone is going to be playing for that top one there, Mitch. 6 grand split on between the players as well. That can go pretty decent away.
Yeah, well, how good is it, man, at the moment? You think about the current market, about how much actual good Valorant that we have going on right now. We've sort of got 3 active tournaments, and the players obviously have been, changing their rosters, changing their roles, and we're really getting to see sort of the market, I guess, settle. The game is in a super interesting state. We've got a new patch, obviously, coming up as well, where we're going to see some crazy things. I think, Viper, Astra, Raze, all these new things that are coming into the meta now. And, again, we're seeing those continual agent selections as well. So bringing it up next, we'll be running into the schedule to have a little look to see what games are actually being brought on. Obviously, we know what will be brought on the A stream today on the Order channel, but also, with that being said, there is going to be 3 other channels. Of course, 2Tap Tony and Matsy, the dynamic duo, Potato Fries and Tuesbees, Digital QF and Cthulhu. They're going to be on the effectively A, C, B, C, and D streams as well. So we've got 4 running tonight, which is amazing to see. But straight up, we are going to be running, this is round 1 as well. So 3 best of 3s, obviously coming through tonight. And Dion, you and me, 3 best of 1s, 3 maps. That's what I'm going for. Relax on it. But no, Bliss versus Direwolves, Dion, is what we have, pumped ourselves up for this evening to start off.
Yes, so with there being the 4 teams in each in each group, rather, it is going to be, the 3 best of 1s played out today. You get to battle off against everybody, but as you do mention it here, Conky, Bliss up for one of our teams. Of course, previously, the fun crew that have been brought under the reins of the Bliss crew, who touch upon, different games in the region as well. So it's really good to see them expand out in towards Valorant, a great crew of players, of staff over there as well. But these guys are what we are going to have our focus on today. Easy, Precious, Major, Ronsky, and Jungle Wow.
No, exactly. We're actually talking about a pre-broadcast, weren't we? That, the guys have obviously been happily running under that Bliss banner and, showing off. Obviously, they've got the new studio up in Brizzy, I think, where they've sort of running their little LAN cafe kind of center and everything like that. So big shouts to Bliss. But that is not the only roster. We also will be checking out the Direwolves as well. A roster that we have seen for a little while with a relatively new face. He has been in as a sub for 4, but obviously we've got Bernsky, who is picking up the spot for Yakuza, sort of sitting along those these smokes that we're going to be likely expecting. But the roster, Lou, Payne, Wrath, Jun, and now Bernsky.
And of course, people might remember Wrath being about a previous name of Kyoto as well, of the Counter-Strike at Reigns. So very familiar with that. But yeah, Bernsky being announced, really cool. We've been seeing him toil with this roster for a little bit, and it's great to see that he is, finally situated himself with them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's definitely one of those things where it's always a bit odd to have the player come in and out when they're finally sort of settled in, going for the prac and everything like that. But again, across the board, it's a team that we're relatively familiar with and everything along those lines. But look, tonight, Dion, let's sort of get into it before we actually do move into the game itself. 3 best of 1s. There's so much going on right now, obviously, across the 2 different A and B groups. It just means that there's really an opportunity for us to actually delve into the best of 1s where anything can sort of happen, before we do move on. And later, having a group stage in a competition like this gives opportunity for all the, different maps to be showcased. But we are going to be jumping right now into the agent selection. What do we got? The map is Haven. And checking out these agents, Dion, what do you reckon?
So this is one of the things that I was going to mention as well as we do get straight into it. It's the different compositions that teams are starting to bring into Valorant with all the updates that Riot are pushing. There's new dynamics, there's new strategies that are coming out, and it's all up to the adaptability of the teams early on to see what they want to do. Of course, overseas, we see Roy or Stronglegs, you know, adopting the Sky. He's kind of completely gone with it the whole time and found what could be known as the new meta, right? Is he going to be picking up the Sky in amongst this roster? Astra being picked up by Jungle as well. Across the board, you know, with Major, usually you come to see over towards the Phoenix, but they are changing it up between themselves. And again, you know, Valorant's sort of narrative that is starting to get pushed in the way that the game is going is starting to get really, really cool.
Exactly right, and obviously we are seeing the double up of the Astra, as you mentioned. It is such a strong agent right now, obviously so much versatility, and the fact is, you know, we don't sort of see any people sitting back to like one set of smokes or one, you know, duelist or two duelists or anything like that. There is so much versatility, and obviously going in. Oh, hey Wanda, how you doing, my friend? You're not here tonight. Map. What's going on?
A little bit of a prelude to a new map potentially being coming as well. Really, really cool to, I guess, have a new map, you know, where we surround ourselves with a lot of maps, and with it being only 5 at the moment, there's lots of room to explore out and give teams a bit of a deeper map pool. But, Mitch, it's gaming time. It's the first BO1 for tonight. Haven is the map. Bliss, Direwolves.
Haven is the map. Haven is a map that is very confusing. You know, 3 sites, and it does seem to be very much the control game. You know, taking as much area as possible. It's very, very hard as a defending side to sort of sit back and lock down all the sites individually. But it does seem to be the double C setup so far, and obviously the rotation from the jet of Bliss and Bronski heading towards that position now. So it does seem that they've actually sort of given up the go towards this A site deal, and everything moving towards C early on.
Yeah, the Nebula kind of swaying them over towards the C site, funneling them over into the crosshairs of the Bliss boys. However, it's going to be Lou to open up, dispatching of Flesh, just looking for the spike plant down now is what they're charged with. However, more kills will start to be contributed to that scoreboard. It's a flurry of frags right now, Mitch. As it's a player advantage for Direwolves, things will settle down.
Yeah, still somehow they've actually deciding to rotate out of there as well. Lou with the first opening 2 frags, still managing to live on for the time being. They are going to start to fang it over towards that A position, and it looks like they will be given the control nice and early. Very nicely done to take control of mid. Obviously, that's coming out from Bliss here, and also rotating around CT. So Major does nicely. Will be on that flank early on, but maybe Bernski has actually heard him out early on.
Maybe he's read it right. He'll hear the footsteps right now. Corners to be cleared. No, but Major mistake potentially. It's all going to be down jungle. Wow, 1 versus 3. 2 players quite low for the Direwolves. Then how is he going to get in? Position known as well by that step, and the duel already being fought. I expect a double swing here. We'll see how he's going to be able to tackle it though.
Yeah, so hard to actually move on in here, but he does manage to find the pick onto Lou, but down to 1 point of HP, and there we go. The Astra of Bernski does manage to solidify 3 in the opening round, and the Direwolves, relatively sort of cruisy first round. You know, there we go. We're going to be seeing it come back in on that Logitech replay. Beautiful stuff, but now, look, well done from Bernski, you know, making sure that he is doing the right thing early on. And very glad to have him formally announced to the roster as well.
And it was a big thing from Lou as well over on that C site to be able to almost plant his feet and find those 2 frags, because Bliss, you know, they use their utility outside of the A site, almost trying to narrate Bliss over towards, Direwolves over towards the C site. It works. Everyone was there, but the frags just didn't go their way. And at the end, Direwolves, they were allowed the opportunity to just disconnect and go to A.
Look, Major going for some very, very early control. In the end, he will be sent back. The slower was allowed to go up. But look at this push as well. Ronski going to be joining him. In the end, it will be easy to actually rotate away. But they are all their way out towards mid, sitting in garden, waiting to see if anyone will push through. Fleshist up nice and close inside garage. But looks like it will be Jun getting the opening pick. A little bit messy, but does solidify the shot. And they're already up on this B site, getting the spike planted early on by Wrath. But Jungle actually denies. Bernski will find the trade, but good start here from Bliss. But now it just sort of goes back and forth.
Yeah, you're just looking for any damage right now from Bliss. See what they could do with the pistols. We know they're going to have their rifles in the next round. A situation that we could have seen them if they did upgrade. We saw 2 players from Bliss push up through towards A long with no real overlooking flank from Direwolves. So we might see that exploited a little bit later on if there are proper rifles in players' possessions. But for right now, might have seen the frag there come through from Easy as Bernski was already low. But in him meeting the death, it's 4 alive for Direwolves. It's now into their bonus round and Bliss's buy round.
Exactly right. Holding on to that bonus, very, very important at this point in time. But of course, that does give the opportunity for Bliss to get back into it. How are they going to choose it? Are they going to play a little bit more aggressive, or are they going to just sort of allow this side of Direwolves to head towards them? It will be sort of interesting to determine that one. As guess sort of this round can very much set the pacing of the game. But yeah, just checking up on the scoreboard. Very nicely done to start off by Bernski. And yeah, really, not much can be said as of yet. All sort of plays around this one, but I'm excited to get into it.
And here we go. That bonus round to be played out from the Direwolves if they do find out this round, as we do mention, and almost just upsets Bliss and the defensive side of Haven. I mean, it can always be a hard thing. You look at towards the disconnection between the Sova and the Sky. We really are going to have to see Easy do something. But for right now, the Gravity Well is going to be utilized, and the Jungle Well, he finds the opener on a Lou.
Yeah, Fleshes will be tagged up by it, but he does manage to actually live on. Still blinded. It will be the pick found by Pain, but Ronski rocking up to pick up his second, narrowly missing Bernski on the trade out now. The fade towards CT. Pain is going to be looking to get the shock darts down, but it's got to be the spike. Very challenging one here. Good use of that shock dart, but 3 versus 2, the heal will come out in the sky. Information gathered, but they're just playing it nice and patient here so far, Direwolves.
Yeah, the spike is going to get retrieved as well. They're very vulnerable when they go for it in the 2 versus 3 scenario. In comes the guiding light. They get blinded. They know that they're still here around the side. Of course, another bird getting thrown on in, flutter around its wings. Frag to be seen from Bernski. No, as the trades do come out from Bliss, they get their first round on the board.
Yeah, they tried to make it happen, just then going for that swing towards CT, but it was nicely done by Bliss. Ronski very good to lock it down as well, going for the aggressive play on the Jet. And yeah, look, that is a good way to get their first round on the board for Bliss. Again, the bonus, always a bit of a challenge to try and find it, especially when you're on that attacking side. They did move very, very quickly towards C, and they even, once they had control of the site, they were a little bit cautious, they were a little bit nervous, didn't look to try and find the spike plant immediately, tried to take control of CT, but in the end, it was Bliss to power over. So now we move on into the full-on buy, where everyone is going to be well-equipped. It is going to be Wrath back on just the Spectre Dope.
Well, the Ultimate Orb is going to be farmed up over at A-Long, and they're going to fall on back and spread their ranks as well. Usually, you would see the Seekers from the sky be used for information, not as opposed to getting out those near sights when you do get tagged by them, or they explode on you, however it does work. But when they attach to you, maybe is the way to go about it. For now, Direwolves, they are starting to path away over towards A, where we may see the Seekers be used.
Exactly right. Nothing. Oh, no, there you go. I was going to say nothing spotted out by the Owl Drone, but in the end, they do get the information on the Major. Obviously, with the Blade Storm available. Oh, okay, here we go. The Cosmic Divide is going to be coming up nice and early on, down towards that CT position, but Pain trying to make his way up now. Easy does have the guiding light out. Lou is going to be able to push through the Cloudburst, though, finding the opening. Pain, Junt as well. They have done so much good work here. The Seekers do come out, but they won't really find a whole lot on the back of the Cosmic Divide, and it looks like that's going to be Bliss getting out of there, Dion.
Yeah, and the Seekers that kind of saw was stuck behind the barrier wall there as well, unless I'm mistaking something. But for what it's worth, Gravity Well was used really, really well on the side itself as well. And you can see that Easy to get pulled into it, and it was the free frag to be seen on the back of that as well. So for Bernski, using that utility to perfection, the ultimate as well, just making sure that Jules had to be fought getting into the site, otherwise use your own utility as well. And that's where really, that ultimate can come down into the play. If you don't have that damaging utility, your shock darts or your raised paint shells and stuff like that, you can't really get back into it and find that damage. You have to take the rifle jewels.
Just thinking to myself, what color is purple for you?
Grey.
Bruh, that's rough. Can't imagine. Imagine working for Swifty and he makes everything purple just to spite you.
Nah, I'll tell you one thing. Every single time the graphics from this man up.
Yeah.
It is wonderful.
It's the brother, isn't it, Josh? The man is a weapon. Dan the man. That's always awesome to work for this one. Again, obviously a massive shout to Order for putting this one on. Always exciting to be working alongside this team. But now, speaking of teams, Direwolves, they are the team in front for the time being. And yeah, going aggressive.
A little bit, yeah. The purchase that they've done on, I mean, balance out the money that they can, as they did lose that last round. They've only got the one rifle round that was against the bonus of Direwolves, so nearly in that reset territory for them. They had something to throw at this round. So far, it's the 1-1 pick, with Lou getting already up toward the B site. He's got an entryway, but he might even want to go over towards the A side. His team could technically rotate over there.
Yeah, Lou has been a very, very impactful player so far. Already taking that control of B. Wrath looking to clear out towards a link. Nothing is just there yet, though. But the Astra of Jungle, well, we'll get the information. Wrath already up towards the site, but it is going to be Lou again. Not aware of the control that was already established by this Jet. And once again, Dion, Bliss, they are lacking behind. Fleshist will at least be able to find one on his way back in. Wrath starting to swing around now. Got to look for the jewel, but Fleshist getting for it. So it's actually giving up a little bit of the opportunity here. Easy might start to rotate in now, Dion, in this 2v2.
Yeah, and the cage is there for Fleshist as well to either put on toward the spike or over towards main to at least cordon off one area. The guiding light as well, so Easy has one of them, and they're going to coordinate them together and coordinate and see what they can do. A dink on towards Fleshist, though, as he loses his life. It's all onto Easy to clutch out the 1 versus 2. 43 points of HP, manages to find Pain, bringing it into the numbers, man. Which I believe is June?
Yes.
Yep. And the round is Direwolves. There you go.
Very nicely done. This Direwolves, Dion, I've seen them, do a bit of the hot-cold sort of plays over the competitions that we've seen in over the last little while. They're a fantastic team. Fundamentally, they have all the firepower that they absolutely need. They've got the team synergy. This is a group that obviously have been, friends and family, I guess you could consider, for quite some time. And now they sit here with the opening 4 rounds on Haven. Bliss only to find 1, so we're up to round 6 just now. Very nicely done from the Wolves early on.
And I love the meta shift a little bit in toward this as well. You know me with my my 2 duelist factor. I don't really like to see the 2 duelists. I like to be seeing your more supportive agents, your more strategical agents, because you got a lot of time on the clock when it comes to a round of Valorant. And these teams, I mean, it doesn't really look like they're going to be utilizing the time in this one, as we're straight out already into the C site. Bladestorm's been pulled. Resurrection available. Lou, he gets his head absolutely cleaned up.
I was about to say, Lou is just usually one of those duelists that actually goes in first and obviously creates a lot of space for his team. And ultimately here, it is the Jet diff right now. Ronski to find it. Jun, to get that cage down there, is going to be the Rolling Thunder heading its way out. Fleshist is able to find one more, but nicely traded out by Bernski. Moving on in though, Easy does find one, looking to find the second. He's going to drop Wrath as well. It's all in the Pain, all the way towards the back. The spike not even really planned for him as well, just has to go. Oh no, it is indeed, but has to just go for the wild shock darts. They're going to be up on every single angle. Very challenging, does find one. Not quite on it as well though. Never mind, they were. I didn't even hear the defuse start, but there we go.
Really smart usage of the barrier wall, actually, on that
on
that location. Putting it vertically as well, you got to make sure that your fingers are always back road to be able to change the direction of that and place it with your team looking over the angle as well. Pain trying to do something, but I saw, as soon as that recon bolt went on down, I was questioning myself, why was there no ping? Look to the radar, and there's a big line there. So it was really well placed out from the side of Bliss to be able to coordinate utility together. It's also Wrath using his Rolling Thunder in that round that didn't really net anything for the Direwolves side. It just assisted Bliss, really. So very well placed from them to be able to gather it.
Very early on, I guess you could say, for the Rolling Thunder. Didn't really get used later on in the piece. Just sort of inside that garage, I guess, defense. But anyway, Bronski, he's up very, very close here, and they should be able to get some information there. Oh, focus on towards Easy, but Wrath and Pain are able to deliver on a couple of frags here. Now their wall from Major will go down. Oh, that is dirty, that little one-way.
That is
underneath
filthy.
the wall. But now they do look to sort of mosey their way on. However, look at this control that's actually coming out from Fleshist in towards mid. John does have the camera there, but it's going to be all about the timing.
Yeah, and they'll be playing for a resurrection now if you're Bliss as well. See what you can do. The only problem being, look where the bodies of the boys are. They're over in the deep A main territory at the lobby, so they can't even just go and get that res on in. Major does have the heals available. Will be able to toy with a little bit later on if required, but for them, I mean, they don't really have the ultimates to be able to hold Direwolves at bay from getting in toward this site, so it's going to be down to the Direwolves execution that we saw earlier on. Great use of the gravity well is going to pull Major in. The shock dart as well does pepper him down into the death. Now it's down to Fleshist, good for maybe one here.
Spike planted.
Yeah, 6 bullets, spike goes down, flashpoint as well. And Bernski, he's going to collect. So 5 rounds now for the Direwolves, and they have been very, very strong too. The retakes are coming from Bliss a couple of times to secure those rounds. But, once Direwolves sort of get rolling early on, finding those opening picks, they've been doing very, very well. So yeah, that's where we end up with the scoreline, 5-2. Getting as many controlling, attacking sided rounds, very, very important on this one. And it just does appear sort of, I've seen the early control coming out from Bliss, but it seems like Direwolves have had an answer for it pretty much every single time.
Yeah, well, for Bliss right now, they do have 5 ultimates that they might be able to utilize as well to gather some information to bring a duel more favorable in their way. I'm actually seeing up on the radar that there's nobody from both sides over at that A site as well. So a really big lean from Bliss in this round. And I guess, I mean, when you got the blades out and you don't have too much money to be able to throw at it, you do what you can, go for a little bit of a gamble stack. So for right now, Direwolves will just tread water and see what info they can gather early on.
And that's what I mean. You know, I don't love it in matchmaking, but I love it in officials for Haven, how it's basically just like a sort of 5 versus 5 team game as opposed to sitting back on those sites and waiting individually on the defending side. It's like, all right, let's try to take some control of here. We'll give up the A site. We'll go for the retake later on. Makes it very, very interesting. So Ronski with the Blade Storm available all the way up mid. Might get the information. Good pick on the Wrath, but it will be traded out by Lou. Very nicely done. Lou with a second. Fleshes will go down. Also spots that member towards the A-Link as well. Pain finding Major. Bernski to take down Jungle Wow, I do believe. Missing a couple of shots, but in the end, no, he does find it through the wall. Lou to pick up his third. Easy goes down, and my God, Direwolves, they are looking absolutely fierce in this best of one.
Yeah, any more rounds that they're able to escape away with right now will be pretty much catastrophic over for the side of Bliss. And it's not the end of the day. I mean, it is the group stage. There's definitely a way that they can path themselves back in if they're able to tackle it against the other teams later on in their group as well. But for right now, the opening duel on the mainstream as well, they want to be able to see what they can do here. They want to be able to best out the Direwolves. And for them, it's not the stellar start that they would have been working for. They haven't been able to get any rounds in a row consecutively. And I think that's one of the biggest things for them right now, Mitch.
Absolutely. Maybe the pace will pick up when they move on to that offense, but we'll have to see. Pain early on, looking for that opening pick. We'll have Bernski join him. At least just sort of taking control of that orbit nice and early on. Once again, does look like there will actually be a little bit of extra control taken inside Garage, but the rotate actually does occur as there is a little bit inside A. And I'm liking this as well, playing up from Heaven. It'll be flashist, but the wall goes down from Major. That is going to lock them off for the time being. Still not really too much presence coming out from the Direwolves just yet. Once again, send John out, look for the fishing rod, see what he can pick up, and he might actually find Major, and he will. Great opening again from Lou.
That's another opening for Lou. He's been absolutely superb in finding these first bloods. I actually want to see the number that he'd be at already right now because I don't have it written down, unfortunately. But for the player advantage, the Seekers are thrown on in, trying to get the reveals. It's been Wrath who has actually been nearsighted from it as well. The Direwolves have the Hunter's Fury to play with a little bit later on, but the kills start to be contributed to them as well. Not
Lou.
one yet seen in return.
Lou.
Not one in return from Bliss after Wrath fell.
We'll get it checked out in this Logitech replay in just a second as well, but Lou has done a fantastic job. This is the previous round, but look, these things do happen, guys. But Lou, man, I tell you, it has just been incredible to watch this guy not only take the control, but also to live long enough as well to see his team solidify the post plan. So he has been such a fantastic member of this roster so far, especially on the map that we're witnessing right now.
Yeah, from the first blood entry in toward that B site, you know, reallocating his position as well, just updrafting to get away from the Seekers and his team. Maybe you could make an argument that he kind of baited them by just getting out of dodge there, but getting up above, I mean, he had the overview of the whole site, didn't he? And he did what was needed again. Another opener, tailwinds to escape, not a single point of damage that's touched him just yet. The foundations that Direwolves are showing, Mitch, in the early stages of these rounds, that is stellar.
Yeah, it's the confidence. They look really, really good. They look super well drilled. They are not shying away from sort of anything right now. It is going to be the stack over towards A from Bliss. They are still obviously wary of that mid control that does continually get taken by Lou, but now Fleshes, he's going to be looking for the swing around. Will be Pain on the server to find that opening pick. Did they actually spot Major over towards the cubby position? No, but Lou, it's not going to matter. Jungle does find one, but Lou, he's already up in Heaven. Easy has to walk over towards the CT position, and only with the Sheriff is going to be a tough one, saving as we do move on into the last couple of rounds. But oh my goodness, this has been just stellar. There we go. 4K from Lou. I believe that is a 3, 3, and a 4 in a row now from Lou.
Some people say eco frags. Some people say confidence frags. I don't think Lou needs any more confidence. He is just so destructive in this game so far against the properly equipped opponents of Bliss as well. He is just absolutely having a run in this game. And while finally we do have another purchase to come through in this next round for the Bliss side, is it too little too late? I mean, they can make it 4 to 8 and see if they can repeat what Direwolves has done on their attacker's side. But it just really feels like for Bliss, a lot of momentum is just not been found yet.
I'm just thinking already, this may actually be the very first time we've seen Ronski on that operator in this matchup so far. Lou did go for the Blade Storm over upon the A-long position, looking towards the orb, but it wasn't able to be found. I do think Major actually managed to get it and slip away. But off the back of that, it is going to be them heading towards that mid area. They've been very versatile in the way that they're attacking this site, not really giving themselves any, one and done strategy over and over again.
Well, it's going to be the garage explosion. See what they're going to be able to path their way in with a bit of a split over towards the C site. Rolling Thunder to be sent on through as well. And that is going to only find and disorient one of the players. But on the back of that, Mitch, it is control of the C site being seen from Direwolves. They've got the Cosmic Divide for the hold. They've got the Hunter's Fury for the defense later on as well. Shock Dart's still available. A 5 vs 5 retake is severely difficult here.
Yeah, look at how much controlling position they've already taken, the Direwolves. 4 members heading their way back towards long. We still got Lou on the side, basically taking full control of that. The Cosmic Divide is down. That's going to make it very, very difficult for Bliss to actually find their way back into this. Finally now, we do see Easy moving up on that flank, but it is going to be Pain looking towards him. Might quite find it, and there we go. Guiding Light doing nothing now, 4 on 5.
And Jun, as the wall does fade on out, it's actually going to be another wall that gets put on up this time by Bliss, and the shots are missed out by Lou as well. He's going to be at least equipped with the Vandal to assist himself. He's able to find it, and little do you know, it's all a 1 versus 2, still favoring out the Direwolves, and with no time, Mitch. Mage's going to escape with the Operator at least, but it didn't really instill discipline. I feel like Bliss just waited a very, very long time there.
No, they did indeed. Maybe lacking a little bit of confidence right now, but Direwolves are very, very much leading the charge as we move on into the final round of the half. 9 rounds on this attacking side of Haven is a very, very strong start. Obviously, Bliss, they did manage to save the Operator in the previous round. That's going to be going back into the hands of Ronski, but it's like that situation. They haven't needed to play around any individual or anything like that right now. It's just basically Lou going out for a little bit of a hunt, a little bit of a fishing trip, and then the rest of the team sort of collapses and falls on whatever position he has managed to take. So very, very nicely done so far from the Direwolves. It has been a pleasure to witness this one for the opening night for, again, the Nova Invitational, brought to you by the lovely, lovely people at Order.
Indeed. For now, last round of this half, Mitch, and Bliss, I mean, they've already kind of been forced back onto a passive A hold. The approach from Direwolves not being met with really anything. Easy's going to send in the Trailblazer to see if he can spot out anything. It's going to fade away at the end, though. Bliss, they actually find the opener this time, and they double down on the seconds.
Yeah, they were a little bit slow on the utility here. It looks like the Direwolves side, but it is going to be Bernski up towards that site. Ronski does get the positioning, able to find another. Now it's all onto Pain, and he might be feeling the pain, but apparently delivering it as he did manage to find 2. But in the end, it is going to be Bliss finding their 3rd. Very, very important for them to at least take that additional round. It might give them the pace change up that they need, the momentum that they can start to throw into the next round. But this has been a very, very diversified scoreline right now, Dion. I couldn't believe it. I expected it to be a much, much closer one. But then again, Direwolves, they've been ahead of the curve the entirety of the game. Bliss have had a couple of nice rounds, but it's been off the back of sort of a heavy retake. That was likely the cleanest round thrown out by Bliss so far. Oh, yeah. And it was obviously just sort of off the back of a very sort of standard A take from Direwolves.
Yeah, without a doubt, that's the best round that Bliss have had so far. They rotated off when they needed to, got around the side of A and took those duels where it seems like they just got caught out a little bit there. But for what it's worth, we do switch on things. Bliss are going to have to carry that over to this half because if they drop pistol and they drop second round, that's 11 for the Direwolves. And then it's the bonus round where, I mean, we saw Direwolves pick up the last bonus, so anything can happen in that regard.
The old Cloudburst didn't quite do what it needed to, dropping off the recon bolt, but in the end, they sort of only go for a little bit of early A control, and then they do start to try and fall away. The orb was contested early, hasn't been taken by any of the teams right now, but they are going to start to back away now. Look at this control as well from the side of Direwolves. They've actually chosen to completely give up B, and I guess since it's a central bomb site, they've got the tripwire down that may be able to give them the information shortly. Ronski, though, may very well hear that one as he does walk up. We'll be able to destroy it in a second, but it looks like they are going to go for that B site hit, and it'll be an explosion shortly.
My mistake on that last one. I said that they found the bonus round. They didn't actually find the bonus, but they found the next 2 and pretty much reset Bliss anyways. But for now, in towards that B site, the wall to cordon off one side as well. We'll see how they're going to dance around it because, again, it's a 5 versus 5 scenario. Direwolves did pick up the last 5v5 over on that C side of the rifle round. So for Lou, trying to path his way in, everyone's just unknown in their positions. Look at where everyone is. They're so spread out.
I really like how they've already set this one up. You know, they're already in the post plant before the spike even does go its way in. Lou, one, does find a second as well, using the tailwind to get around the side. Bernski is going to be able to pick up another, and now Lou looking for that control. They know that they are over towards this mid area. Fleshes does pick up one, but that's going to be Lou picking up a third, surely going for the fourth. He will find it. Collecting the bag once again is Lou, and that will be a 10th round secured by the Direwolves in a beautiful retake. Lou again, confidence is key. And we are going to see that again from the Logitech replay coming on in from the big Swift man. You absolutely love to see it.
Player in Lou is going absolutely colossal. We bring it up to his total kill department, and I mean the 3Ks, the 4Ks, everything that is being found is phenomenal. Look at him sitting on top of the server with the crown on his head. 20 frags. You got Payne and Bernski behind on 12 as well, still putting up what they need to. But as I did say earlier, Mitch, that's the worst case scenario for Bliss there. They drop the pistol. They have to pretty much force up here in Direwolves, still technically being in a weakened state, and the plant certainly does help them to get a little bit extra into this round.
And look at this from Lou already, all the way down towards long. Ronski may very well get his head ripped off, but it's a very nice swing. Maybe that's the confidence punished here. The opening frag is going to be found. Now they have the information. It is going to be Bliss forcing into this one, and now with the Hawk going up, control. Not going to be retaken by the Direwolves, though. They're going to let the members of Bliss get on towards this C site and then maybe go for it later, but it's actually going to be Ronski picking up a second here.
Very needed for the side of Bliss as well. They're going to be able to establish that plant on down and then wait for the Direwolves to mount out some sort of retake. Where you're going to see Ronski try to be the instigator. Going to get taken out by Jun. And Squash just does start to fall on back. It was a good flashpoint in as well that they capitalize upon. Major able to pepper down 2. Now it is on to Wrath. And there's too many bodies around for him. Major, 3K in the round. But Bliss, more importantly, yes, they drop the pistol, but they do find the second round and reset the economy over on the side of the Direwolves.
It's exactly what we needed to see from Bliss there. You know, going for the all-out balls to the wall play where they do take control of C, early pick onto Lou, and then they're able to funnel their way up towards the side, get the spike planted, and ultimately sit around with those Spectres. So, you know, the old second round force sometimes does pay off. And our Direwolves, they are going to be taking a knee into this round, going for the full-on classic save to have Lou on the shield, but doesn't look like he does have... Oh, no, he's actually going to be going for it early on. The well will go down, which will keep him off it for the time being, but he is going to try and pick up that orb in just a second, and that will be the Blade Storm. So there still is a chance for some big impact in this round.
I was going to say, in a round where anyone is around lobby there for Bliss, they could have found the frag, you know, in the time between the cloud bursts. They only do last 4 seconds, and he had to use 2 of them to be able to get on toward that ulti orb and pick up the Blade Storm. So I'm kind of, I guess maybe a little surprised that Bliss didn't put a little bit of pressure there to be able to find it in knowing that the orb would be farmed. But, I mean, I guess you never know if they're going to be purchasing up the light shields and the sheriffs to be able to tackle against you. So for what it is worth, a bit of utility already utilized early on for the Direwolves.
Well, all the responsibility is on Bernski right now. The Trailblazer does go out, but doesn't actually spot anything. Only with the classic in the corner, but they do actually gather the information off the back of that. We do start to see the rotate come through. They're questioning themselves a little bit, but it does appear that Lou is going to be heading his way over there. And with the spike, not yet convinced, Ronski. They're just going to send him down to go for a little bit of an extra hunt. It does appear that they might end up executing towards this beast site.
And Bernski's going to be seen as well. He's going to be the first fallen soldier in this round. You've got to miss Nebula actually over to the left side towards the C link. A slow orb's going to go down there. Maybe Jun could have had something done if the slow didn't happen, but he's going to walk into the crosshairs. So Easy does get a bit of damage to be seen onto the body, but I mean, that's the power of the Sage and the Sky, isn't it? A lot of heals available for Bliss.
Oh,
and
no!
Lou. Oh, no. Good for one. Traded on out. Though the Direwolves, 2 frags in the round on a full eco. I mean, I guess you'll take that.
Man, I was going to say I had a feeling that Lou was going to go so much bigger than that if he got the Blade Storm reset onto that second member. He ends up having to go for the all right click with the classic, but still easy. Nice little 3K to collect the rest of the round. Again, lots of damage dealt, but still at least with 3 remaining, you know, it's not nothing. So they're obviously going to be sort of playing, I guess, somewhat of a bonus into this next round where we're going to be expecting a full buy. No, okay, yeah, okay. So the bonus is a bit of an interesting one. They do actually manage to pick up 2 Phantoms and a Vandal.
We'll see if Bliss are going to go in with some aggression. They've got the Resurrection available if need be. The Seekers from Easy off the get-go as well to just force the Direwolves back a little bit. Ronski is just going to sit through the fault line as they do send in a bird into Garage. They are going full pedal to the metal onto the floor. The pedal has been pushed image into C.
Straight away, I do like that early control. It's a similar thing that we do see from, Roy from RNG, getting that basically as soon as he has it. Information just thrown out straight away, not really using it for any sort of retake measure. So ultimately, they will take the C site very, very early on. Now, this amounts the position for Bliss to start to really get himself into this comeback. The well's going to cause a little bit of a problem, but now Lou, he's already up at the site. He's up very, very close, and they're going to line up. Oh my word, Lou! You are an absolute animal in this matchup right now. The spike is already going to start the defuse. He does get to the half. Jun finds another one. It's all onto just Jungle Wow now towards the long position. He will find Wrath, but there we go. Lou, this man is a monster.
How has he managed that, Mitch? My word, the first two line up for him, but it's the snap on the third one that is absolutely phenomenal. Ronski has no idea what has hit him. I think in that situation, you can probably say Jet Diff and absolutely get away with the exclaim on that. That was a very sharp flick. And I mean, look, one-man army, I guess you could kind of say as well, but his team is doing what they need to be doing, finding the space as well. It is just a game that we're seeing from the Direwolves, specifically this guy in Lou. He's already got the blades again.
Look at the assists, though, coming out from Wrath. That's the breach coming into play right there. The flashpoints, the use of the fault line, obviously, and everything along those lines. The rolling thunder when it is available. So he is still having some big impact, despite a little bit lacking in the frag department. But when you've got someone like Lou, as you mentioned, very, very, I guess, unneeded to be everyone to be stepping up to the plate in this position. But anyway, look, the gap is only narrow, I guess, still. Like, if Bliss find this round, they can really ramp it up and start to bring it back. But as Direwolves being so close to victory, it still could be a bit scary. But look at this engagement about to come through. Can Lou do it?
He's got to be the gatekeeper right now, and the gate's just been blown on open. Easy, quick bullet to the head, and Lou is gone. Nobody around the A site now as well for the side of Direwolves, but Bliss needs to make sure they just clear everything up. Nebula up towards the heavens with a slow orb as well. Plants to go down to their heart's content, and this is where we'll see the post plant happen as Pain will try his due diligence to get out the Shockies. They will find Easy down to 31.
Yeah, very good damage there. Should be able to get the heal on over. There's the call to come in, a little bit of confusion, but now trying to lock this one down. Obviously, all the confidence still in the back foot for Direwolves. Easy will be able to at least drop one more, but he runs out of bullets. There's a good trade from Jun. In the end, they don't line up, though. Jun gets 3. This is starting to get a little bit scary. Looks for a 4th, but it's going to be Pain. And there is the neural theft to come out as well. It's all in the jungle. Wow, so much has been done from Jun. I feel like he's been a little bit robbed there of the ace, but in the end, he will be able to collect. Pain even rubbing in as well as he does run off to try and find potentially something else around the mid area. But man, oh man, Jun with the 4K on that Cypher. Gorgeous as we see it in that Logitech G replay.
The amount of multi-frags that we've seen actually on the side of the Direwolves as well just instills that they've got the individual brilliance to be able to dance around the sites and just take the mantle on their own shoulders. And more prominently, we've seen it from Lou in this matchup. But again, we've got the tickling there, and we finally do see it come through from Jun. You talk about it as well. The assists on Wrath is 15. Absolutely in front of everybody by a margin in this one. But what could potentially be the last round, Mitch? As Direwolves, they got the buy. Same do Bliss. And there's an operator from Lou down through C long early up.
Yeah, very, very early on, looking to take that nice control. Ronski will be spotted out early on, so he will have to start to fall away. At least still does have the Phantom in hand. Some of the members on the team a little bit under-equipped in this situation. And we'll be able to get the further information from the Owl drone as well. So Lou, nothing yet spotted. Jungle Wow still just going to be waiting for that control as well. So once again, leaving towards the A side, very, very open up. And obviously Pain doing a very similar thing. Ronski has found his way up mid, but still the rest of Bliss sort of a little while away, waiting to see if Direwolves throws anything at them.
Yeah, well, the Cosmic Divides are going to be available from both sides. You got that Resurrection still for the side of Bliss that you would expect, I guess, if they have anyone lose their life in this round, that they'll try to get them back up. Because if they do make any mistakes, this is the match done and dusted. But they're going to walk straight into the crosshairs of Lou. The tailwinds to escape as well. He's even backed up by Wrath, though the blinds doesn't work out. And he dashes into the wall. That's easy finding Lou for an opener again. But in toward the site we go with the Seekers.
There we go. The information is going to be gathered nice and early on, but that's actually the Cosmic Divide coming out. It's now Ronski to actually make the call, take the control to push all the way up to this position. He could go absolutely massive if they're not ready for this one, but the timing rather, will it fare him? Not quite. It will be Wrath to actually find that trade. Jun in a good position towards the garage, but Flashus also ready. Easy. Does manage to get the trade on the Pain, and there's Flashus. Now the neural theft to go down. It's all on the Wrath. He's had a slow one, but he will actually be able to find a pick. taken down to 16. It will be Jungle Wow, and Bliss, they managed to live on for just a little while longer.
And a little bit there as well. Whilst Wrath was taken down very low, he actually did get the Rolling Thunder on the back of finding that pick and making sure that the spike wasn't planted. If he was able to fall back in towards Link, he could have bought even more time and denied the spike from going down with the Rolling Thunder. I guess maybe it was just a call that there might have been a flank happening. It felt like after that frag, he got a little bit worrisome and went for another duel. But unfortunate for what it is for Bliss, they managed to pick up a 6th round on the board. And it does push Direwolves again into a bit of eco territory with these Sheriffs.
Exactly right. So it's going to be Lou.
Oh my god.
And you know he's just going to hit those at this point in time. Guys have been playing absolutely incredibly. And now they can settle in this 4 versus 5. We do have Major, though, with the Resurrection available. Has to use the barrier wall, though. And now Payne, he's actually going to get a little bit of a mark there onto Ronski. Taking the first, so already gathering that information. And you know what that is? That's actually Ronski going down twice in the round. Very big amounts of pain.
We like the puns. And Burnski is going to be given pain over towards
Great
Easy's
angle.
face. That is a big frag in this one as well, because not only was the Resurrection negated before, they found another one. They've also put a player down low, which is going to cause out the heals. So at least Major is still alive here. But a player disadvantage for Bliss against Direwolves, Mitch, where they are on an eco in this one, essentially. Doesn't instill confidence.
No. Absolutely not. It does make it a little bit nerve-wracking, now with that Cosmic Divide down. It does start to make them question where they need to go and how they need to attack this. John, a little bit off. Does miss the shot. Jungle able to capitalize there, but already we do see Lou up very, very close and personal, holding with the Sheriff. Does
he did him!
No! Taken down to 19 points of HP. That is upsetting. But Payne and Wrath, they are there. The Rolling Thunder is available for Wrath if he does choose, but in the end, he actually does make his way in. Now it's onto the Shock Dart, which would have been able to clean up 2 members very, very low. But Jungle Wow, with the 3K on the Sheriff, Bliss do manage to hold on for a little bit longer again, but it is going to be Direwolves in with a purchase into this round, Dion.
Yeah, they're going to have to test their metal once again. They've been able to at least survive with the 3 there to carry over what they needed into the new round and purchase up what was lost. But again, you can't be giving Lou these openers. They have to shut him down nice and early on. See what sort of strategy Bliss are going to go for. I see so many stars up on that radar, and I just do not know who's right now. It's so difficult. Feel sorry for the observers. Shout outs to those guys, but at least for now, we know the focal point is over towards A, so we can kind of stick with this for a little bit.
Exactly that being said, though, Dion, right? Big shouts, Crash, Roots, Tham on the admin boy, and Swifty on the production. Big man himself. Always a pleasure to have the order team alongside. Anyway, getting back into it now. 5 rounds Bliss need to try and make up here to get that control back. Easy knows nobody has contested for that orb towards long. It's just going to be again Jun sitting up inside that heaven position, playing it nice and passive. Does have the Cypher cage available just on the other side, but nothing will be popped as of yet. They are looking for that slow control. So Jun's going to have a big task ahead.
Look at this lean as well from the Direwolves. 4 players over towards your exit garage, and you'll see Sight playing retake over towards A that Jun is going to have to call over now. He's still got his camera up towards short as well that he might be able to pop. Go for a tag, see if he can find anything. His trapwire is going to be seen again. That's the second time Major has fallen for that same position of the wire. But now the plant does go down for Bliss. They are at the player disadvantage, and there's a Rolling Thunder still.
Nebula's still down for a little while longer, but already the Direwolves, they're starting to march their way in, hunting, bloodthirsty, ready to try and close out this best of one here. Ronski sitting towards short, but that's going to be the Rolling Thunder to come out again. Wrath using so much, but immediately Fleshes does actually start to push them in. Will he find one? Yes, he will. Looking to pick up the second as well. Wrath, though, good for the trade. A little bit out of whack there, but Lou is able to pick up another. There's Jungle Wow. Now that's a second. Will he be able to get this third on to just the last man in Wrath? 1 versus 2 situation, not quite on the line for Easy, and that is going to be Bliss to pick up their 8th round. They are slowly but surely bringing their way back into this game, Dion, and I think the Direwolves' economy has been set again. They can buy, but at what cost?
There must have been some big comms going on the Direwolves side as well, because the shot that Flesh just shot over towards Wrath was very audible, and Wrath didn't really, for whatever it was, hear it or anything. And on the cause of that, his teammate on the site as well, I think it might have been Payne, got sacrificed over toward the deep side of the site as well. So a little bit unfortunate there, but at least for, I guess, Bliss there, they do manage to pick up the rounds and get one step closer, as you say. Bladestorm's going to be picked up by Ronski as well. Again, Lou just going to weigh out the gravity well. this time, but he's got his blades available too, and we'll pop them.
What's so interesting with the Astra, hey, how it actually does mean that there's a way to early on contest those orbs. But anyway, the Guiding Light will come out. Ronski already up on that site, finding the opening onto Jun. Will they be ready for it, though? Pain waiting inside that Nebula. The slow orb is going to basically leave him in that position, but going back for the post plant, Pain does start to walk away, and that should be the site taken very, very early on. Easy's actually going to say, hey, buddy, can you get out of that corner for a second? I need to plant a spike. But the shock dart comes out.
Yeah, big amount of damage. Big amount of damage can be healed up, making sure that the gravity well doesn't upset them. Seeker's still available for Bliss. What are they going to choose to throw in? However, Lou good for one on the blades. Ronski to trade it on back, looking for another one. Will be able to find his third in the round. Knows where Burnski is as well. And it's going to be Jungle Well to take the frag in the end. It was a little bit of that eco to come through from the Direwolves with the Blade Storm there. But importantly, Mitch, Bliss, get the job done.
Well, it's funny now, Ronski's actually starting to gather himself on this Jet a little bit with a nice 3k on the Blade Storm in that previous round. But again, it was the usage of that Cosmic Divide. Jungle Wow has had so much impact on this Astra right now. He has been looking very, very good. And again, it's just the assist game coming in for Wrath. 17 assists. That is nutty, but look, to be expected on the big Chad breach. Looking to get the fault line down nice and early on towards short. Lou this time. We'll be looking for the early pick with the operator. Has been punished a fair few of these aggressive rounds. And yeah, again, it's starting to get a little bit scary with Bliss only 3 rounds away from taking this to overtime.
Yeah, a little bit dicey, but remember, any situation that they lose a player is not resurrectable at the moment. So they have to make sure that they are finding out their frags and not giving the Direwolves a chance to be able to close out this round. Nebula will be popped over towards the C site right now to buy a little bit of time for Burnski, and time is what's needing to be bought. Lots of utility going on down with this stretch out from Bliss, not going too deep over towards the C site outside garage.
Oh, major
pepper damage here.
Yeah, it takes a lot indeed. Now Ronski actually makes his way all the way up. The Guiding Light is going to head towards CT. Don't think it actually did gather a whole lot of information, but they have cleared the backside. They've got the confidence now. Regrowth to heal up the team. And now looking to get that spike planted once more. Pain. Get the shock dart down towards back of the site, but nobody home. It's going to be a 5-on-5 retake, but look at the positioning from both Major and also Fleshes.
That's a really good wall as well from Bliss there. They make sure that the Direwolves can't mount an assault from the garage position as well as the defender spawn position. It's all going to be flustering out from the defender spawn, and they do manage to find 2 picks as well. And a neural theft down. Burnski finds Major all onto Easy to do something from this location. He's got his teammate here in Fleshes as well to help. The defuse is already half done, and they line up. Raph able to close it out. And that there means that the Direwolves will pick up map number 1 in their group stage, 13-9 over Bliss.
There we go, calling Mr. Impact there. Wrath on the breach to close it out. An excellent game that we have just witnessed right now. Direwolves certainly starting to let the chokehold slip as Bliss did fight their way back, but it certainly gave us an entertaining matchup. We had multi-frags, we had everything, and also Lou up all the way at the top, just narrowly missing out on the 30. 29 frags on the Jet. But across the board, I did see impact from basically every single player in this server in this match.
Oh yeah, 357 ACS is the big thing to be seen over on the side of Lou. That is absolutely phenomenal. And 6 first bloods. I mentioned it earlier on, right? That I wanted to see the big number. You look at that, and in the grand scheme of things, I mean, Ronski also has the same amount of openers. But I just feel like with Lou, they were openers into multi-frags is why everyone's sort of, I guess, is more directed and targeted over at the name of Lou there.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's exactly the perfect way to summarize it. You know, it was Lou finding the opening pick, but then taking control of that B site just pretty much time and time again, and being really the linchpin for the rest of his team to wrap around and determine where they're actually going to end up. But man, Dion, you know, an electric way to actually start off this series. So a massive shout out. Of course, this is day number 3 of the Nova Invitational, brought to you, of course, by Order Army, presented by Logitech. Guys, we are going to take a very, very short break before we do run into a big one. It's going to be Order versus Wildcard. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back again with the Nova Invitational, brought to you by the lovely people at the Order Army, presented by Logitech. My name is Mitch Conky Concan, and alongside me is the lovely Dion Komodo Parada. Dion, we have just had a banger of a first match between Bliss and the Direwolves, where the Direwolves did walk away 13-9 on Haven.
Yeah, and I've heard that there's been some cheers as well, so it's going to be interesting to see how things are going at the current time. Of course, we bring it up on here in our two groups. We just touched upon Group B there, Mitch, with the Direwolves Bliss game, but it looks like Mind Freak, have taken the best, have won the game over straight out of the zoo.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Very interesting to see. And also, if you guys are noticing on the other side, it was Kanga dropping down wildcard. And I've heard apparently that one with a 13-5. So a very, very large game. But look, it's not going to be all about that for now. We are going to be getting into what we are seeing on the other streams as well in just a second, bringing that up to witness, what we've got in store. Of course, you guys will know on this primary channel here on the Order page, we are going to be witnessing Order versus Wildcard. Then, of course, Potato Fries and Tuesdays, Tiny Turtles versus Kanga. To Tap Tony and Matsy over on his channel. It's going to be Direwolves versus Straight Out of the Zoo. And then Digital QF and Cthulhu for Mind Freak versus Bliss. Massive shout out, of course, to our alternate streamers for the evening. If your favorite team's playing over there, make sure you do check it out. Or just have 4 monitors with all the streams open. That would be the main play, in my opinion. But anyway, guys, it's going to be a really, really exciting one. Looking at the rosters that we have now, Order versus Wildcard, we know there's been some changes across the board for how these guys sort of set up. So let's check out Order, Dion. It's a team that's well-equipped. Obviously, we've had the recent little change in the fact that Dick Stacey has stepped back as the head coach, and now we've got Signed in the fray.
Exactly right, and joining them, of course, everyone should be knowing of these guys: Tux, Autumn, Texter, Disco, and as you mentioned it there, Mitch, Signed being brought in to the mix officially now as well. Dick Stacey feeling that he'd be better tuned into a coach role, so we're going to be able to see how he can lead the boys in their progression throughout their endeavors in Valorant.
Yeah, exactly right. Dick Stacey has had such a well-painted history. The coaching role might be suiting him. But jumping into Wildcard, guys, of course, we do know it. We have recently seen the signing of Swirly Boy, but another name to come back as well. We see Wizard, old mate Ralph, in the server. But as usual, infrequent RDW, Ninum joining the fray. Wildcard, great team, but we do need to see them sort of fall into towards some consistency over the time. Kanga taking them down 35. Pretty scary, but anyway, it's a great matchup. It's one that we were looking forward to, obviously, all the way around. We've seen these series go very, very close and tight. And again, now seeing what obviously we've got in. You mentioned that there's obviously going to be a bit of a change-up on who's playing what. I saw that especially with Tux and Texter, seeing what the Viper, the Breach, and everything else under the sun. It's crazy.
And we're going to see the same thing over on the side of Wildcard, right? With the new player in Swell getting brought into the mix. Wizard actually being back again after being in and out. You see their different agent lineups. I was, speaking to RDW a little bit earlier, and he was saying that they're bringing in Sky into the fold, and they're just completely changing it up. And one thing that he said as well is look out for Swell on the Astra. And I mean, he did pop off in their match that was played on one of the alternate streams a little bit earlier. But from what I see in the statistics, Wildcard, they definitely got rolled in their first opening match there.
Yeah, which is crazy to think, but I guess that's Kanga, right? The old Rip and Tear squad, that's one roster that can really fire up at any point in time and really catch off guard some quote-unquote higher-ranked teams. But Kanga look excellent. It's really cool to see that they've actually stuck around and sort of changed up their original pacing a little bit. And Order, the interesting one is going to be seeing how well Signed actually does fit in because, Dick Stacey obviously regularly sort of playing along that server and things like that. But it's a one-for-one trade of like the player. But again, Dick Stacey playing with these guys who they've played with for so long. Signed now moving into the roster himself. It's going to be quite a big mental game too, but he's a fantastic player. And I think, if he does get given the nurturing he needs, he'll be able to fit in very, very well. But Autumn hovering that Yoru, surely. But I think the one thing you guys will be seeing on the screen right now is we are going to Icebox.
I think the day that when I see Yoru be picked in an official match is going to be the day that I will congratulate that person and give them a reward or something. Yoru's had all of those buffs and balances and changes, but it still really hasn't been brought into this game so far. And I mean, if we talk about it as well, you want to see every agent in Valorant be deployable in some scape. So unfortunately for Yoru, that's not the case. It's great to see that Sky's been brought in. It's great to see that Astra is adopted very, very early on. And with the recent buffs of Viper, you pretty much see her everywhere now.
Well, that's it. It's the Astra and the Viper meta right now. Of course, we've got the Rays coming in to have those paint shells tossed around here, there, and everywhere. But as the Aurora Borealis does fade along across the top of Icebox again, guys, this is day number 3 of the Nova Invitational, brought to you by, of course, Order Army. Big shout out. We've got Crash and Roots on the obs, Swifty on production, and of course, Tham on the admin. Massive, massive shouts to all of these guys. Conk Moto coming at you as we move into Icebox. Order versus Wildcard.
Well, on the stage is something that I have not seen in a very long time, but I like it. Whether or not it's going to work out for Wildcard here, a little bit of redemption, of course, as they did lose out their first match. Order, they did win their first one as well. We're going to see what the capabilities of these guys are going to be bringing on through. And essentially, Viper on this map is your smoking agent with the assistance, I guess you could say, maybe from the Jet.
And I'm interested to see as well, I guess, the meta of Icebox doesn't really present it at times, but no Astra. We have seen it. It's just basically going to be the Vipers coming out. Of course, the Killjoy for Ralph, famed agent, and then obviously the double duelist on either side. So moving close towards mid, Texter, but Wizard is actually ready for him this time. We'll be able to find the opening pick, and then it does start to settle. So again, it proves itself in the meta. Defense is the attacking side, as usual.
Yeah, it does seem to be that way. But for Wizard, he had the sixth sense that Texter was creeping on up. Does manage to find that opener and at least afforded a bit of heals to the body as well from Swirl. So the grouping up from Wildcard is going to translate over towards the B site. You already see that the Toxic Screen was deployed a little bit earlier on as well. That's still going to be utilized from Tux. But whether or not he pops it at the right time, we'll have to wait and see, because the boys are starting to run in from Wildcard.
Snakebite to go out. Toxic Waldo does go up for the time being. Nothing found from Snowman as it stands. And I suppose Swirl, after getting that spike down, he does want to sort of slip back. Ninim is on the other side of yellow, but it is going to be a tough retake here for Order. Obviously moving in with a lack of limb. Ninim, though, waiting to see if anyone will spot around. The wall goes back up.
You can see the paint shells being utilized by Infrequent here as well, but it is going to be Tux managing to find a Ninim who is back on that Jet that we know to be so powerful on. Shock Dart's going to miss their mark as the utility from Tux is actually running off a lot of the angles. Again, another frag to be seen. Infrequent is so low. All the players on Order, though, relatively low themselves. Wizard's pushing from the backlines as he manages to find all the remaining kills. How does his turret manage to do something there? Okay, then.
As we'll probably get to see it on that
Logitech
replay. Yeah, exactly right. As soon as the Poison Cloud did move away, Wizard regained that information and that flank as well, moving his way back all the way through B long, running through the tunnel in mid. Very, very nicely done by Wizard on the opener here. Mate, it's a pleasure to have you back.
It is indeed. Bringing a little bit of magic, bringing a little bit of sauce back into the roster for Wildcard. A big start in the pistol round, picking up 4. As we are going to see them upgrade their weapons as well. We can't say the same for Order, though. As you do see, they're going to go for that aggression on the defensive side. And I do like this passive approach for Wildcard right now as well. Just making sure that they don't get overwhelmed if they themselves were to potentially walk into a stack.
It's just still so funny to me watching the passive route being taken early on. But, it's expected, right? Order obviously lost the round. They are going to look to see if they can pick up anything nice and early. Wildcard are respecting that. Great shot from Wizard. Does dink up onto Texter, but obviously with that shield, now all gone. It's going to be healing up. But it does appear that Wildcard are going to set their way back towards A shortly. Still playing a bit of a passive route there, but now we do see Order start to re-step onto that site.
Just remembered in my head as well that technically Order, one of Wizard's old teams, can't really gather anything from how long ago it was in terms of strategies and stuff, but tendencies, it's hard to shake those as a player.
Yep, certainly is. One of those players that's actually sort of, even used to contest these Order boys as well back in the CS days. Now, looking to make their way towards A. Of course, they do have the control, the weaponry advantage, the slow orb does go down, but Swirl actually didn't spot anything on the other side. Great use of the Toxic Screen. Swirl do it, does find 2 in the end, yet to spot out Autumn, but already up onto the site. The spike does look to be planted, but Ninim does pick up another, so it is going to be a 5-on-2 here. Great shot from Autumn, but it's straight into the Nano Swarm. And actually, RDW, what did he kill him with?
The decay of the Toxic Screen, I think it was there.
Even the game doesn't know.
Yeah, dashing. It does decay, but I'm not sure if it does damage. Let's see if we can bring it back up. No, it's just going to be into this one. I actually don't know, to be honest with you. Nano Swarm, it had to be some sort of the decay.
Yeah. Well, look, the main thing is Valorant doesn't even question Valorant at sometimes. We just sort of let the chaos ensue, which is part of the reason that this game is so fun to commentate. And now, with that first full buy to come in from Order, of course, we are just going to be seeing the bonus come out as usual. Great shot from Signed. Walking over the middle area very, very early on that boil-up. Great shot from Tux as well, narrowly missing the second swell. Be able to find the shot. So now moving their way over towards B, but it is the man advantage still going. Yeah, exactly right. Actually, nicely done. But obviously still with the disadvantaged weaponry, it still is going to be Order sitting in the pole position.
I think someone's stolen Infrequent's gun as well. He's going to take a sheriff right now. He was looking for it. Marshall on the floor, I think that he might be able to gather up as well. But the barrier wall does go on up from Texter to elevate over to try and deny something. He's not going to be able to do so. Finds one. Traded out instantly. Still this 3 versus 3 duel, and you've got Wizard still alive as well. The turret there, I don't think he's got any nano swarms, however, so it is going to be down to these duels. But does someone have an Ares there? Is that what I've just seen?
Yes, you have just seen that exactly. RDW never surprised me, this man. Always sort of expecting something in the sense. Disco does find one Wizard. Good for the trade, but he's run out of bullets. Now it's all in a Wizard. In a 1 versus 1. Make it a 1 versus 2 for the 4K. Wizard on this Killjoy. Looking gorgeous on Icebox early on.
4K in the round as well is absolutely phenomenal. The guns are doing the due diligence at this time. And on the, the bonus round, where you generally wouldn't see that be picked up. So for Wizard and his crew of Wildcard to be able to pick that one up, they have definitely top decked something there. And he also managed to pick up the lockdown in the mix. So he'll be able to utilize that. And I'm looking over at Order. They don't have Hunter's Fury available to destroy that. So I mean, they might look to see and use that a little bit on.
I do like this line. Seen it regularly used. Obviously, with the Blade Storm available, can rip off the head of someone that does walk up on towards this belt. But they are just waiting, seeing if any early control will come out once again. Very much does seem to be the regular thing. Allow the early control and then wait to take the jewels later on, as opposed to, I guess the early on meta in this game of just fight immediately as the walls go down. They are slowly making their way up towards A, and again, Wizard, he has had so much impact in this matchup already. 3 rounds in only. Nothing spotted yet. Oh, Autumn missing a couple of shots.
Oh, no.
Unfortunately, down to the 1 blade, and it's all gone. And that's going to be the Killjoy to come in as well.
And speaking of that all gone, Wildcard are going to be gone and just renegotiating what they want to do in this round in amongst their comms. They've decided, probably off Wizard's call, being the IGL of these boys, that we go to B. And we see if we can bamboozle Order, which has definitely worked. All 5 Order members over at A. I mean, they are only with the pistols as well, so they'll see what they're going to be able to do now. But with the flank going down, 5 versus 5, it could get sticky for Wildcard if they aren't finding these frags.
RDW peppers a couple of bullets, not hitting though as of yet. Great shot, does find one, looking to make it a second, but Texter is able to find that frag. Spots out Swirl, Infrequent gets the job done onto another as well. A name that I haven't really had to mention just yet, but he is obviously still here on that raise, finding a second. I will refresh the paint shells, and let's pick up a third in the process as well. Swirl to drop Texter, but Wildcard, they have been looking very, very clean. Maybe that previous map has kicked him in the gear a little bit, but it's Wizard 8-0-1. We're going to see that come back on the Logitech G replay as well. Man, it is excellent to have obviously everything running on in this event so far. Production working alongside the Swift man, always good. But yeah, look, this is, again, day 3 of the Nova Invitational for anyone that is around and a part of it. And with Wildcard starting off so nicely 4-0, this is looking good.
Looking good for right now as well. But we've got those guns back on the side of Order, and they do have Viper's Pit available as well to lock down the fort of wherever they want. Tux tending over towards that B site predominantly. But for right now, it's the expansion over towards A. As Wildcard are trying to establish themselves a little bit of domain. Though Text Up is going to find the opener. Ninim, we haven't really seen too much from him just yet.
Not really needing to pipe up as of yet. Wizard take a couple of shock darts, but the information is gathered. Sending that Aldrone up from Signed and taking their time to sort of start to walk their way into this. The spike will now come in the hands of RDW. There might be a little bit of an engagement in just a second. The boombot to come out, but that's going to be an Order that does use the dash to get away. Disco pushing on in, does find one. Same with Texter. I know it is all onto Infrequent. 1 versus 4, a long way away from home, but he is into the kitchen, and he might be able to establish some control due to this flank.
If you can take the operator out of the Order's hands as well, they won't be able to rely upon that. Of course, they don't have the money to be able to reinvest in it, I don't think. So to be able to find that right now, it's very well placed for that. And the team is going to see what they're going to be able to do. We know there's another purchase for Wildcard in the next round. It's all down to the damage game. We're Infrequent now. 1 versus 2 is in a workable stance. Showstopper to be deployed as well. No bodies for the resurrection over on the side of Order as well to be able to get someone back to life. So again, name of the game is damage here from Infrequent. Seeing if he can spot anybody out being vulnerable. And he sees the toes, but he can't tickle them as Disco finds him in the end.
There we go. Finally around on the board for Order. Good dismantling of the Wildcard side, but at what cost? Again, they've lost a lot here, and ultimately Texter and Disco being down low to a point where they can't buy the Vandals in or the Phantoms for the opposing team, members of the team. But now, with that step towards, means they will be able to at least work their way towards breaking that economy of Wildcard. But it is still looking pretty good at this point in time. But yeah, across the board, nothing too questionable as of yet. Wizard has slowed down a little bit after the explosive few rounds. But again, it is going to be an early bit of control. Autumn getting all the way up towards that B early position. He's done a lot of damage, but signed great with the Hunter's Fury onto 2.
Yeah, a little bit of a case of stolen frags there from Signed on the Hunter's Fury, but phenomenal damage to be seen early off the get-go from Order as well in their B-site contention. And Disco finding Wizard does mean that it is just down to RDW to see what he's going to be able to do. Loss bonus will give them another purchase in the next round, I do believe. So, can he do some damage here and maybe stop Order from having a flawless round?
But it's what they needed. Exactly what they needed. RDW does get one, at least. Does have, obviously, the pit available, but it is going to be Disco creeping his way on in. Being in between Disco's crosshair is not something you want to fare on the regular. Man, he's incredibly sharp. But now as it stands, Order 2 rounds away from tying this one up. And again, finally a little bit of momentum behind them. The economy does start to stack up. Signed is going to be continuing the investment with that Guardian. And on the other side, we do see... Oh, what does RDW actually choose to do here? It looks like the rest of the team potentially playing some sort of bonus. Ninum is going to be running around with a Blade Storm, I do presume. But everything else looks relatively even. It's a bit of a stalemate early on.
Get out of my way.
Now the blades do get brought on through. Signs some cool little shock dust to catch anybody who does extend nice early on. But the big thing for now is a Disco down the opening frag on towards Infrequent. And as the team of Wildcard tries to get in toward the site,
will he see
what Ninum can do. Blades out. He's missed all of them bar one. The one that was needed for the frag. He has lost his life.
A different type of Ninum peak this morning. As he does make his way along. Scope going to swing his way around in just a second. Wizard does get the Nano Swarm down on the sign. Was into an awkward situation, but that's going to be the recovery onto Infrequent. And now they can actually start to move back on in a bit of a 4-on-4, but it has been a very big stalemate towards this A site right now. Tux still waiting towards B. Nothing does aggress that position, but he will be ready for it. He's not convinced on the rotate just yet.
Yeah, time. There is still enough to play with as well if we want to translate over towards the other side of the map. It's the interesting thing that an Omen could be able to, get over there. Once upon a time, we saw a lot of Omen picks on this map because of its verticality. But right now, the showstoppers do be brought in from both sides.
Oh.
And the shots out from Disco couldn't quite translate the aim to the right position. Viper's pick gets brought on out as it is a player advantage for Wildcard. Make it a second one now, looking to play post-play.
Big man Tux on in for the clutch situation, is on the Viper. Did actually hear the ropes on the way up. RDW will be on the opposing side. It's going to be a tough one, though. Does Tux actually go for this? I suppose he's in a position where he kind of needs to, wants to do as much damage as possible. But again, the second he moves into that pit, he's going to be decayed down to, 50? With that new Viper buff update, of course. But the turret should spot him out in just a second. Does give away his position now. But he's waited a long, long time.
He's been shouldered out, of course. Position already known. Couldn't quite get anything done, unfortunately. So for Wizard to close it out, it is another round over to the side of Wildcard where they could have, been diving deeper in toward their pockets and maybe seen an eco in the next round if they did lose that one. So for them, they place it well. They've got enough money in the back pocket for Order as well to reinvest. Awesome. Going to be back on toward the operator with the shield, so no glass cannon for right now. But again, it is going to be a case of what do Order want to do on this defensive side to just hold Wildcard at bay.
Yeah, starting to sort of really dip deep into those pockets now, though, again, Order. Wildcard relatively consistent. The round on A was a very interesting one, though. It was just sort of a very big stalemate and tug of war until the site was taken, especially how early on Ninim was actually up on that site. Great peek there. Text up, walking straight into the crosshair of Infrequent. Again, a former teammate. Back in the Chiefs CS days, of course. The good old days. But Autumn holding a very, very aggressive line here. They will start to sort of slowly make their way towards their RDW. Moving in, the Boombot will go out from Infrequent. But still, 4 on 5 in favor of Wildcard.
Yeah, no res available, of course, because Texter was the one that bit the dust right now. Autumn holding a line that he can tailwind out of as well. But everyone's going to navigate over towards the A site for Wildcard. I still do believe that they've got the toxic screen available for RDW that they can still throw out. And it's actually going to look to go over towards B, where Autumn will be able to gather any info if anyone pushes on through. So it looks like for Wildcard, they second guess themselves. In the world, the crosshairs of Autumn, though. Really find one and escape. You've seen the body. There's the frag.
Nice.
See you later. Now it's going to be down for Wildcard to just extend out into the site while the rotation happens for Order.
Well done. At least RDW was able to get that screen down. Autumn narrowly missing another. And you see in this game, those walls paper thin. Will actually get the dink up. So the operator is sent out for the time being. Swirl is going to be dropped relatively low from that shock dart. Autumn does now have to reposition. Sitting back towards Snowman. Tux is going to be joining the fray as well. So it's going to be a tough 4 on 4, especially trying to flush out the remaining members of Wildcard that are sitting back towards B long.
Yeah, and the longer they wait as well, Sign is going to have another recon bolt available as Autumn tries to lead the charge to the Blade Storm. Decayed on down as well as the Poison Cloud does come on through. Ninim, though, able to find him with the Jet Frag on the rifle, though. They need to be tapping the spike to draw out the Wildcard members. Tux manages to find Ninim on toward the defuse now. Nothing on it. Flank looking to be Disco to bring it back. 1 versus 1. Time ticking away. Conky, though. Does Disco have it? He needs the headshot. No. Swell manages to find it in the end. Left, right, and center frags, though. As Wildcard, they at least tie it up at the half now.
Exactly right. Well done from Wildcard to continually bring their way through. They have really not been scathed too hard, despite taking a fair bit of damage. Every single member of the team has been doing exactly what they need. Swell with a great shot to close out the round there. Disco certainly gave it a good crack, and same with Tux. But yeah, on the other side, it's been... Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting one. I feel like this game is way closer than it actually is.
Yeah. There's definitely been some rounds that have, gone to the wire in terms of the player count. But for right now, I mean, you're looking at Order's stance. You're trying to see what they can do when they have their rifles, because they are going to be, again, back toward the lesser purchase. Although, lesser purchases sometimes do work out, don't they?
Yeah, Tux put himself into a really good spot there. But, of course, sitting inside spawn was Disco. Did throw him off just a little bit, which allowed Swirl to get back to safety. Sign still waiting. Up nice and close with the right click of the classic. Surely they are going to peek this line. Yes, they are, but there is the first. Narrowly missing the second. So good damage already expended onto the side of Order with not really a whole lot. Still is the Resurrect available, whether or not they choose to use it. Dexter does make his way around, does find one, but it is traded this time. The on 2 still, but there's the res out of the map for the side of Order here.
And I'm actually just wondering as well, how many points away is Swirl from being able to get the resurrection out? The shot does rain on through for the Marshal, getting a bit of a tag out as well. And know that we're going over towards the site. There you go. 2 off it. If they haven't gathered the orb, it's an orb plant and a res, but there's no bodies readily available. So for Autumn holding this line, he will manage to find Ninim. Now it is down as well. This is the case in point. If he can get the plant, he can get the res, or even a kill. He'll have to play for time. He'll have to play for his heals. 20 seconds, he has to plant as well. It's a very difficult situation. I think Autumn might have a thrifty here.
He's got the heal. Let's have the time as well. Disco walks it up. There's the res. There's the res, but Autumn moves back in with a great shot. Autumn with 2 to pick up a 3rd round for Order. Very, very nicely done here by the side, playing it as a nice little sort of partner game. They moved in as duos, ultimately with their pistols. It was greatly done by Signed and obviously Tux to get those opening early picks as well. So the thrifty, as you mentioned, in the bag for Order. And that does start to throw Wildcard away a little bit there. Economy does start to dwindle slightly. Minim, though, back on the Marshal. Everyone else does have their rifles. And it is Autumn continuing on the Operator. Can he put it to his advantage in this round?
There's a very big deployment over towards the A site for Order in this round, getting their forces very aggressively so over onto the belt. And they've used the wall as well to be able to just put the pressure on. Wildcard, whether or not they've heard it, I don't know. They themselves are throwing their forces over around the B site where Tux is here for 1. Can he get a second? No.
Unfortunately, resetting the spray there. Tux was unsuccessful, but now the shot through the toxic screen doesn't quite connect. Great use of the res, and now Minim to find one as well. Dexter trying to get back into position. Sign does actually find 1.5, maybe even almost 2 if you want to count it that way. But Swirl, he's already looking out for the flank here. Disco, does he even look to go for this sign? He's starting to make his way back up. Does have the recon bolt available. Disco has to try and find something here, but there's so many angles for him to watch. Does pick up the 1. Will he be able to spot out Infrequent? Goes for the swing. There's a second, but not quite the third. Sign taking down the turret. Now he has to try and get back on in here. The Nano Swarm is going to go. Same with the Toxic Cloud, Dion.
Feeling it out. Signs has HP to play with. 13 bullets. One technical upgrade from 10 there, but tapping on the spike to bait out the pressure.
Oh.
The President's snake bite on down, and that's just enough time that the spike should be exploding and maybe taking everybody with it.
Last player standing.
Not quite.
We're good.
RDW kicking on for another round. And that is going to be the economy dwindled again. It has been struggle streak the whole way around. Autumn making a very, very ballsy play here, picking up the operator if he does choose it. It will, of course, be Glass Cannon into this round, but it looks like he has been told to sit back. I mean, he obviously will be able to pick it up into the next. It is currently a 3-7, 2 rounds left in the half. And yeah, again, Wildcard, they've obviously already won it out, and that is great to see on the attacking side of Icebox. Looking very, very good after refreshing back. What was the map that they played against Kanga?
Haven, I think.
Haven, okay. Interesting.
Just from my memory. And I think Order played Bind against Tiny Turtles.
You should run.
Rightio.
Blades out for Ninim. As the Killjoy is down as well with that lockdown. Order getting contained in it. 2 seconds to escape on through as the forces will retreat. For the spike to go down. 5 versus 5 post plant as well. Could be quite deadly. A tag out from Ninim's Blades. Do only get that. A tag as Texas takes him out. And Frequent, well, on for some trades of their own and frags of their own. Again, this is just an eco for Order, Mitch, but it is the second last round and a half. Last round is the next one. They want that purchase.
Exactly right. Swell looking to jump on up. Is actually Disco to find the shot. Does connect with that Sheriff. Poison Cloud, though, does pop. It's going to at least allow them to create a little bit of further space. Nano Swarm over the top. That is going to line up. There's some further information gathered. Disco not taken down by the Showstopper. Instead, it is by RDW. Sign is going to be able to pick up another, but again, it's only the name of the game being damaged right now. Wizard will be able to find one more. Infrequent to close. Both the members should be living on here as well. And that is going to be an 8th round for Wildcard. Again, looking clean as this cheeky little Logitech G replay does come through. Again, big shouts to the Order Army team. This is the Nova Invitational. Again, day number 3, the group stages. We're into the second beer one of the night. There is still one more on the back end as well, which we'll obviously get into a little bit later. But it is the Wildcard run of the mill so far. They're looking very, very good as Order have just been continued to push back and have to sort of sit away.
Is this the first time we've seen the operator be brought out on the wildcard side right now as well for Ninim? I know he's been on the
so, yeah.
on the marshals and everything, so we'll see maybe if he's going to be able to find something right now. But rest assured, his team will be able to path for him and find opportunities for him as well. Again, it's going to be the A-site stronghold that Order are looking to play with. You do have both Viper's pits available. You got the Showstopper for Disco. You got the Resurrection for Texter as well. This is the last round of the half. So make sure that they do utilize them. Otherwise, all the collections of those orb points have pretty much been for naught.
So once again, it will just be RDW waiting to see if there will be any aggression towards the B position. But this time, it's just going to be Autumn anchoring it all on his lonesome, holding on with that operator, which means that the rest of Order can really stack up towards this A site. Just watching over towards Boiler will be Tux. And Disco sitting up, seeing if anything will contest in a second. Ninim is going to destroy that one. Does get spotted out by the recon bolt, but again, it looks very much like Wildcard are very dead set heading towards this A site shortly.
Yeah, 30 seconds to go. You might see Disco bring out the Showstopper to throw down towards the pipes location, but for right now, he's just doing everything he needs to do on the rifle itself. There's the rocket as Texter manages to find Swirl. Down to RD and Wizard to bring something back. The spike can be picked up. They can't get over towards the other site, however. They have to go around this A site with all of Order still being alive. It's going to be very, very difficult. RDW lost in amongst his own toxins as it's Order for a flawless round to close out the half, though they do still trail by 4.
A bit of a thrown effort in the end. RDW getting the Viper's Pit down to try and find something, but Disco with 3 looking very, very good to close out that 4th. So, as you mentioned, Dion, there is still quite a space, but this is potentially that round. You know, you win the final one. It was completely flawless. Maybe that's the opportunity to get up into the next. You know, they pick up the pistol, maybe try to continue to, you know, run with the pace. And I feel like, you know, the way that the game continues to shift, it does sort of seem to fare occasionally, maybe not on Bind, but on a lot of the other maps, the offense can actually still, you know, be supreme. So potentially, Order, they pick up that pistol and they can really start to close the gap.
Really start to close the gap. They're going to need to pick up the pistol right now to get things started and maybe activate themselves into the map. You're going to have this B site of 2 for Wildcard right now, but pretty spread thin amongst the rest of the map right now. The recon bolt does get destroyed. Kind of interesting that Nina was able to do so through the wall, though.
Slowing down, but also about to pick up the pace. Ninham does get his head cracked, but also cracks one back. The heal does come out. With that wall, that will be the spike going down for Texter in a position where sort of a little bit out of usual, but now in this 5-on-5 retake, it's going to be a tough one, but already making his way out onto the CT position is going to be Ninham. First opening pick, though, is found by Order.
That view was very, very weird that we do see the frag to be found there by RDW, but as quick as you see it, as quick as you miss it, maybe, it's a 1 versus 2. Infrequent, though, to take the head off of Disco. That retake, sometimes in this game, is just too fast to see everything that's happened, but from Sain's POV right there, it just looks like RDW was completely looking the wrong direction, and then, snap, your head's gone.
Yeah, look, it was a nice retake in the end there from Wildcard, and they are the ones that, you know, throw the pace back. They're not looking to be contested or knocked around by this one in any way, shape, or form. They want revenge, despite the fact that it's not against the same team. At least they are keeping up the momentum for the rest of the evening. They want to get back to 1-1 in the groups, because, of course, you know, we do have a little bit of extra time to work out who is actually going to be moving in towards those finals. Regardless, it has been an electric competition so far. 8 teams duking it out. Day number 3 of the Nova Invitational. Wildcard by 5 on Icebox here.
Oh, and it's going to be the Ares brought out again, but Ninham with a wild shot through the toxic screen does manage to decapitate Tux. A big frag, a big opener. And the pistol round, of course, found by Wildcard. The onus is on Order to do something. The choice, though, is to see what they can do with the pistols, get their proper rifle round in, and see if they can run the gauntlet in this half and see what they can do.
No.
If they line up for Wizard, he's only able to find 1.
Yeah, very, very low now, as they do just try to sort of mosey on towards that A site. No heals, couple of hopes and dreams. Wildcard, again, looking very, very confident. Sending their way back a little bit, not looking to over-contest. They want to make sure they've got as much as possible into the bonus. Orb will be collected, so at least Sign gets away with something towards the Hunter's Fury. But again, should be Wildcard hitting double digits here, Dion.
Should definitely be, unless we see some extremely extravagant shots come out from the Order boys on this low HP. Spike to go down. They'll take money of that if they can. Paint shells out. They'll find Sign. No, they actually missed, so he gets the plant. He's probably on about, what, 1 or 2 HP there. But regardless, plant down. 1 frag in the round. What Order have managed here. Wildcard for double digits. This is the rifle round to come through for Order. The bonus round for Wildcard. This has to be, and I have to explain that right now, where it turns around for Order, because if they do lose this one out, they are also 1-1, Wildcard 1-1. It's down to the final match in this group stage.
This is have to be indeed the final opportunity, really, unless they are sort of begging on their economy later on in the piece. But you know, now they get the opportunity to fully buy in, contesting against a weaker buyer, against the bonus of Wildcard. But they do need to pick up the pace. They've looked a little bit disconnected this Order side, which is something that does sort of start to concern me a little bit. You know, Dick Stacey was, I suppose, one of the most consistent players on that roster. And this time around, we're seeing something a little bit different in the sense that Disco, not that he's, you know, not at the top as usual, but Disco is very far ahead of the rest of the team. And it does sound like we've got a tactical pause coming in, which is never a problem. Technical can be a little bit difficult, but it's good to see that Wildcard, despite being at the lead, they're still having a bit of a chat and a discussion to see what actually is in store for them in these next few rounds.
Yeah, so for right now, I mean, they've got that padding of 6 in case things do go awry. Just kind of formulating what they might want to do on this bonus or how to tackle up against Order on the big older rifles that they do have at their disposal. I'm just looking at this scoreboard as well, and looking at Disco. I mean, he's up there in the frag department, actually leading the server right now. He's got the big numbers posted like the wildcard boys, but I mean, the rest of the team, they're very close. The rounds, they certainly don't reflect all of those kills, so... Back into it as the pause does come to a halt. Wild card. Let's see what they can do here on the bonus and if Order can be kicked into overdrive.
Just shows how impactful the raise is on a map like Icebox. Reminds me obviously of Plix running around, doing some crazy things. The verticality of Icebox does reward characters like that. You know, the Jet, the Raze, the Omen particularly as well. Now Disco does find one, but infrequent. He's been great with this Sheriff in the last few rounds. He does manage to rip the head off, so it's a 1-for-1 trade to start us off.
Oh, and Wizard's going to push the tube right now, straight into the crosshairs of Autumn. Does manage to get a little bit of damage delivered over in the exchange as the heal does come through as well from Texter. I do believe 10 seconds for Swirls, however, right now. Recon Bolt out for Sign. You're going to see the lean start to come out from Order and group up around the A site because it is without wildcard players. You see the Sign is also looking for that flank if required.
Did you see that little spray transfer from Swirl onto the Recon Bolt? That's such a Swirl thing. Hey, look at my aim. Has anyone seen my aim? It's pretty good. Spike planted. Onto the other side of CT. Infrequent peppered up. They're obviously going to go for this wild card. Nothing really to lose here.
Yeah, good usage of the slow orb just to make sure the trajectory is right. Texter will back it up with the frag onto Swirl as well. Infrequent, maybe just looking to fall over with the spike here. He does have a Vandal. Could probably carry that over into the next round. The Ares as well. Costly one, a bit of a gun that can pepper down some frags. There's not a W. Now he's been able to escape for that one. Another frag would be absolutely great, but it's not going to come into play. Just infrequent, surviving for the wildcard side. 2 down for Order. It shouldn't tickle their economy too much. They should have a purchase, but I guess the biggest thing for them here, Mitch, is they have another round on the board.
And Frequent had heaps of money as well, 5k. Likely we'll be looking to pick up that operator for Ninum, sending that over to him. Still got the Vandal in hand as well. Yep, there we go. Exactly as we sort of expected. Full purchase to come out across the board for the rest of the team. Wizard does have to drop to that half shield, but everyone else will be pretty sitting happy. And again, still Disco leading the charge of the server. But now the final opportunity, really, for Order to, I suppose, push back Wildcard. Because if they're successful here and continue their reign, it's going to be tough to get back into it. And RDW actually goes for the Odin this time round. Very versatile in his weaponry.
Oh, isn't he just? I remember once upon a time, you know, when we bring it back to the Stinger Meadow, it was almost the gun that everybody started to purchase on through. And then you had the Bucky and the Judge as well that we know IDW would always love to dance around back into all those raised days of pants down. But for right now, it's Wildcard trying to see if they can hold the fort on this side as RDW, his first casualty in the round. Infrequent's going to follow in quick pursuit.
Well done. Looks like Order are picking back up the pace, but as I say, that Swirl will be able to find one back. The Cloudburst from Autumn to at least send him away. And that's going to be the showstopper as well. Surely Disco has the information, spots him out on the corner. Will actually be able to live on as well. Now Swirl, Nina might want to make the decision to get the hell out of there and try and save their weaponry into the next round. Swirl still looking to clear, still trying to find something. Gets the information. The flicky aim doesn't quite connect though as Sign is able to pick him up. So it's going to be all on a Ninum, hoping just to save that operator. And Order back on the board, picking up the pace once more.
Oh, and he has to really make sure that he holds on this up as well, as everybody's going to start to go hunt for him as well. And is one of the cool skins, I guess, in this one. A bit of an infantry style. Is be trying to really hold on to it. The right click of the classic, and Sign manages to find it as well. Pretty costly for Wildcard there. Big investment. Really didn't hold much worth in the round, I guess you could say, as we know Order gather the round there. They survive over with what they need for this new round, and it's going to be Wildcard on an eco, which I guess in total we haven't really seen.
We have not. It's been very, very consistent. Order was at the beck and call of the economic damage that Wildcard kept delivering upon them in the previous half, just really sending them back onto Sheriffs and Spectres quite regularly, when Wildcard, I felt like, pretty much had, you know, Vandals the entirety of the half. So Tux just waiting to see if anything will push up. Sneaky, sneaky. RDW doing actually literally what Tux did in the previous half.
Yep.
But he will be taken down as a result. Swirl spots out Sign. Not quite able to do the damage with the Sheriff, though. So just the one so far. Sign to pick up the second.
And sucks for Wizard. I'm going to see if any frag's going to be seen. A dink on out is quite unfortunate for Swirl. You'd always think that the revolver is just worth it for the frag, like a deagle or something. But for that round, blades out from Ninham. Didn't get anything done. As you there mention it, a flawless one, a clean rounds to come through from Order. They've brushed off the cold, Mitch. They are warm now in Icebox.
Exactly. The beanies, the trackies. Speaking of that, we are moving into that weather finally. I feel like it's been hot over here for the last, like, 7 months. But anyway, winter is coming. And so is the Order side, as, 3 rounds the difference. Slowly making their way back into it here. All the Vandals in the world, wildcard, sitting pretty with their purchases as well. And Autumn is already all the way in towards mid. Barrier wall down from Swirl. So an early stalemate on here.
And this is a big split to come through from Order as well. Lots of prowess down through towards mid and lots of ability usage as well. A gap in this wall, however, is not going to be exploitable just yet. If you had the Omen, you could have, of course, Shroud stepped your self-TP'd through, but for the composition that the meta is sort of shifting over towards, it really is just your feet planting style, maybe a little bit of elevation, as Infrequent has just escaped with a kill that should not have happened. Resurrection utilized, and the wall, and the wall is at least going to eat the rocket, or maybe it just got over, but nevertheless, doesn't end any frag.
Destroys the wall, and Wizard does take down Disco again. So unfortunately, he's been beaten up in this round. 2 deaths to come in. That is actually going to be RDW putting down the Viper's Pit, which is going to start to, I suppose, entice caution. Tux is on the other side. RDW has been tagged up a fair bit and not quite going to be able to find anything. That means the screen is going to go down. Tux does get swung onto by Infrequent, meaning that it is still going to be the man advantage going the way of wildcards. Still yet to get that spike planted, and in the end, Texter actually does try to get a little bit aggressive to find some earlier control before the spike goes down, but he's going to be punished by Swirl.
And the spike is going to get picked up eventually there by Order, but this 2-player deficit that they do see themselves in is going to be turned into what 3 is. Infrequent turns it into 3 in the round. Now it's just down to Sign, does catch the body. A Wizard, who also manages to find 3. We're all 3s in the circle right now, as with 3 seconds on that part, we do translate on over. And we have 4 rounds of difference. 3s and 4s for right now. But I got to tell you, Mitch, this is where it starts to get more scary for Order. They've started to get some semblance of what to do on this attacker's side. And now Wildcard find themselves with a round. One step closer to victory.
Exactly right. Making it really, really difficult for Order. They do have the purchase back in. They've still got some decent money in the back pocket as well. So I suppose that's the main factor that they can look towards. They pick up this 8th. They can really start to work towards resetting that economy of wildcard, bringing their way back into it. But they lose this one. Sure, they've got another buy, but then they're basically running for overtime. So maybe a challenge. Ninham to do some early damage. Oh, what a shot onto Autumn. That's the operator ripped out of the server. No resurrection available either for Texter. He's already made his way so far up onto this site.
And the problem is, if Sign loses his life as well, that is a free lockdown going down by Wizard, so they really have to make sure that they have almost Signs there to keep Wizard's ultimate at bay. Plant goes down, player advantage over on the side of Wildcard. It's going to be this post-plane for Order, and they have to find some opening picks. Disco gets tagged down at 50 HP, gets some damage out as well.
I do like this positioning from Texter, tucked in nicely. He is going to have some members run in towards them if they do want to try and find something. That's a great use of the lockdown as well. Texter, good damage. Disco to find more. Texter almost going to be able to pick up Infrequent, but the Hunter's Fury from Sign does so much. Infrequent now has to try and find a lot, but in the end, he actually does manage to get down onto this defuse. It's already on the half. Theon, what is going on right now? The wall actually doesn't do what they need. Sign does find the shock dart, but what a blunder from Order.
You could see in Infrequent's head as well. He was thinking, all right, Satchel, I'm going to get over this wall and take the jewels, but somebody must have yelled at him. Just defuse it, man. The Hunter's Fury was already used to destroy out the lockdown. I don't know whether we call that brilliance in the round from Wildcard or a bit of a mistake from Order. There was a lot of things that contribute to the outcome of that one. But for what it is, Wildcard pick it up with not really a ninja defuse, but just a defuse behind a wall.
Yeah, look, I'm definitely going to feel like that was a mistake on the side of Order. Maybe some miscommunication. Infrequent just super happy to stick that one down. Calm. Patience. Nicely done. So 2 operators to come out this time. I think that's actually the first time we've seen at this matchup so far.
Yep.
Ninum sitting back towards Snowman, holding that line. Didn't see anything early on towards the B aggression. Toxic screen does go up for the time being. Infrequent does already join the party, though. And getting an early plant down, that is going to be a good use of the paint shells. And the Nano Swarm Techstar goes down.
No res.
Spike is planted.
There cannot be any mistakes from Order from here on out. They need to make sure their crosshairs are at the right angle to find these frags. Signed is going to have some shock darts readily available a little bit later on, as well as Disco on the showstopper. I'm surprised that Tux wasn't able to get out the Viper's pit, but a exchange of rockets works out for Order. Swell finds Disco. Autumn, great pick to the trade. Blades brought out, misses out the click, but it's Order still getting out these frags. Maybe not. 2 versus 2 situation on towards the defuse now to see what they can do. And this should be Orders now. Ninim, the smoke is going to fade out with the operator. Can't get it done. Order, they hang on.
Clinging to dear life here on the Icebox map is Order. 4 rounds away from taking this one to overtime. But as they get closer, look at the money situation now, Dion. This is what we spoke about. Reset territory. And it does look like Wildcard are going to have to sit back, pick up a couple of sheriffs. The Marshal from Ninum. But regardless, the pressure has to be on the shoulders of Order right now.
Definitely so. Not a single mistake in a round-turning way can be made from Order. They have to make sure that if it does get turned upside down, that they flip it right on back. Wildcard take a little bit of an L in this round, gather up their thoughts, and go at it again with their next purchase. But for Order, they just need to make sure that they hit everything here and they don't lose too much.
Little cheeky shoulder peek there. Getting a warning shot fired away. Autumn taken down rather low. Might have a heal available shortly. But as it stands, nothing to come out as of yet. Minute left on the clock. Little rotation over towards that B position. Actually going to swap over Wizard, it looks like, potentially, but still Infrequent, sitting on the boiler, waiting to see if anything does come towards mid, but it is going to be that A aggression. Ninum gets the opening pick. That is going to be Autumn going down. The operator taken out. Good res to come out, though, and the trade of the damage. Signed a Disco to open up. Here we go as we start to roll back on in. The barrier wall will stop them, but it's a 3-on-5 retake.
I even think baiting out or making Order use the resurrection in this round is very well placed from Wildcard, because they're not going to be able to rely upon that come the next rifle round of Wildcard. So they'll take that as a little minuscule victory, and though they don't find any real frags in the mix, it is that ultimate that they can't play upon as well. The deaths of the Order that we don't see there doesn't give them another charge towards their own ultimates. If they were 2 away, they would have been 1 away, could have farmed up an orb or an early frag, right? So for Wildcard right now, it is in a situation where with the rifles again, there's a very manageable situation here. Signed, for instance, if he lost his life in the previous round, they have the money to spare, he would have had Hunter's Fury. It's those little things.
Alrighty. Wildcard desperately needing this victory here, wanting to make their way into the next stage of the competition. They're unsuccessful here. They will go 0-2, whereas Order will be at a stalemate 1-1 if they're unsuccessful. Very important for them to try and take out the competition in this group stage. Group A kind of stacked as well. But then again, so is Group B. Like, this whole competition has definitely been set up to be absolutely handsome. Some early damage expended, but still 5-on-5. Looks like Order, are going to be heading their way back towards A once more. They've had some success here, though.
50 seconds, Mitch. Viper's Pit, you would expect to go down on the site if Tux can get there. You still got that res and those blades over on the side of Wildcard. It's all going to come down to potentially an opening duel. You can see the rotations from Wildcard coming over toward this side as well. Inching on out is Autumn, but he gets the frag. Ninim maybe caught blinking a little bit there. The better line from Autumn. Infrequent at least gets 1 trade on out as the Ruber comes up through, revealing his position. He gets into the back of the head, but he found a frag as well. The trade's starting to come through. 3-3. Snake bites out. Hunter's Fury as well from Signed. Can he get anything with it? I don't think so.
Rocking a hard place there for Infrequent, but at least he was 2 and done. Now Wizard all the way around on this flank. They're playing it nice and passive. The Viper Pit is going to be expended, but there is the Snake Bite to come out. Might not actually be able to do the damage that it is needed, but that obviously is going to make it a very, very troublesome journey back in, but a great res to come out from Swell. They're not actually going to be watching over towards Ninum yet either, but here's Wizard. He is going to be able to entice so much information. Signed to find Ninum, but Wizard, he does jump, but in the end does find the frag. It's all on the Tux. 1 versus 3. Already finding one inside the pit, but the damage has been dealt.
So
He does actually get onto the other side. So much time, so much that he needs to find here. Does move back into the pit, does find one. This is only the 1v1 now. Wizard, can he find the shot? Will Tox solidify this one? He will! Tux goes huge to hold Order on for dear life as they edge closer towards overtime.
And even through the resurrection as well, you could see that when it did come on through, Swirl managed to still pick up a frag in the mix, but the resilience, the reliance rather, upon Tux in that scenario to be able to showcase the individual brilliance, absolutely superb. From the sound cues to go in and out of the Viper's pit as well, really shows, you know, the experience on the Viper, right? Because it's not like you can just pick up a Viper and utilize her kit like that.
Well, it's just the impact now, right? You know, obviously with the decay, taking them down so low, if they want to go for that contest inside the pit, they have to be ready to go balls to the wall. So it is a great round from Tux there. Texter, though, getting tagged up early on. The old 145 in one dink. Main factor is here, Ninim on that Blade Storm could be a little bit scary.
Got that lockdown available for Wildcard now as well on the back of Wizard, having a sensational match. Shots out, though, from Disco. Only doing a little bit of tickle damage on towards Swirl. Again, this is just one of those rounds where for Wildcard, they will see what they're going to be able to do. Of course, they'll have their rifles in the next one, but if they drop that, that's overtime.
Exactly right. Autumn, great opening shot there onto RDW. Nothing spotted out on the Owl drone of Signed. And now they start to pick up the pace once more. Disco spotted out Wizard. Might be able to find someone else as well. As Swirl does start to move towards that position. Does get spotted. They've actually gone to use the lockdown here as well to try keep them away for as long as possible. Swirl does find one, so they bring it back into a 4-on-4.
Yeah, I'm a little bit intrigued on why the lockdown has been utilized here. Ninim is going to bite the dust. So is Wizard. Freaking good for one in the trade, but it's Autumn. Sensational as ever on the operator right now. It's not really every day that you do see him bring it on out, but for the Jules, it's a 1 versus 3 for Swirl. He is stuck in front of the cargo box. Signed will find him. And it's Order to gather another round, I guess, as expected for that one of the eco status for Wildcard. But I think for me in that one, Mitch, and you maybe likewise, I am surprised the lockdown was used.
Maybe just trying to absolutely solidify that round. You know, the pressure always does start to amount. Some of those hungry members, you know, you think about Infrequent and Swirl with those sheriffs can certainly be scary. But now we move on into the last round of regulation here. Will it be Wildcard locking it down 13-11 here in the Nova Invitational, of course, brought on by Order Army and presented by Logitech G. Are we going to see an overtime here, Dion?
Maybe. I would tend towards the yes style of the yes and no coin flip right here with the resilience and the impact that we've seen from Order. But, I mean, for what this game is, it's an electric one. And Wildcard, they will see what they can do. Wizard down, though, is a huge opening pick for Order.
And there's the Blade Storm immediately to come out from Autumn. He's waiting to see if there will be any further aggression, but there is no resurrection available from Swirl. It is just the showstopper in the hands, of course, of Infrequent, who has had crazy impact in this match. But they've actually managed to pull a fair bit of the rotate off here. The Owl drone to come out from Sign, looking to see if he can spot out anything, but RDW just sitting on the other side of the toxic screen. Bomb Buddy goes out, but it actually is going to be the plant on a free real estate site here, but Ninim does find Signed.
Resurrection available for Texter as well, but I don't think that frag is bring backable in toward existence.
Timing.
So for RDW to be able to find Tux, it does make things really well placed. Has to go for the res. Anything more here from RDW would be huge. You know what he's done though? He's drawn everybody out of the site, and now they're going to try and get on the defuse Infrequent to get them off a belt. No, he's going to go over towards Texter, finds the frag. The paint shells are out as well. Ninim catches the right timing. The defuse could look to be deployed right now. The wall isn't really there for it. There's a gap, and Disco exploits it on towards Ninim. And there the showstopper gets him, and we are going to overtime.
Overtime it is, Dion. Here we are. Icebox brings out so much excitement. And again, day 3 of the Nova Invitational has already proven to be very, very spicy, despite the cold on this map. And yeah, look, great resilience from Order. You know, they were almost down and out for the count. It was a 10-5 position, I do believe, that they've managed to start to fire it back from.
Yeah.
And now we're here in this location. 5 in a row on the offensive side of Icebox. Disco almost with 30. Infrequent, 2 behind. But Disco has been huge. And I think the linchpin again against Wildcard. Like putting the pressure on
And this is a costly investment as well for Autumn. You know, you only get 5k credits in overtime, and he's actually going to deploy it on toward the operator. So if it's a one and done, that's not almost going to be enough. Tux is going to fall back after the first engagement over at the boiler, as he drops a snake bite as well. Yeah, that operator for Autumn, as I mentioned, costly investment. And for the retake at A, it can be quite difficult at times.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one, but now the aggression does start to come out. Paint shells to force away Texter. Does actually miss him, which is very, very lucky. Wall is going to be going down as well. So they're looking to get that spike planted in just a second. Disco checking to see if there's anything on the other side, but Swirl inside that poison cloud will be able to find it. Infrequent opens up. Tuck's good for a trade though, 4 and 4.
And that position as well from Disco being unknown right now could absolutely be phenomenal. They might not be expecting it as the wall is a little bit broken. A chip is gone from it. Turret to be destroyed as well as Disco sign. Find the frags and they're needed. Ninum, he gets taken out too, Mitch, and that is going to be Order taking the lead for what in my head might be the first time this whole map.
Tyler Impact Riley apparently in this matchup. He's had a 1v3 to take the team in the continuation of the match, and then a big 3k in the overtime here as well. You know, not going too crazy, not all the way at the top like Disco with 30, but he has given the team so much space. But can they win it out? They move over to their Fed side, which obviously did get them back into this game on the offense. Not going to see an operator come out from Autumn. It will go into the hands of Ninum, but this one is tight Order. They need this one, and Wildcard, again, they will be down and out for the count if they are unsuccessful.
That on the weaker side, it really gives you confidence to be able to just go back onto what you've already done in the matchup and to be able to deliver a decisive blow and finish it up from there. So for Order, they are sitting pretty in that situation right now. They found the round on their strugglesome side. Now over to their, quote, favored side that we've seen more rounds accumulated so far. You're going to see what they are going to be doing right now. Of course, the operator has been purchased up, as we did see earlier on from Ninim. And the our drone being sent in as well does reveal his position and the operator. And he's the only one here as well.
Yeah, has to go big if there is some aggression, but no movement so far. They're actually going to be heading their way over towards Kitchen. There is no barrier wall inside this location either. So maybe it is going to be that split towards B. Maybe it is going to be the lockdown and putting Ninum into a very, very awkward situation. So much control has been gathered by this Order side. Wildcard very heavily stacked towards A, and they're waiting so patiently to Dion. They've managed to gather so much space. This is going to be tough for Ninum to hold down.
Oh, but he's found the head of signs, and he gets the dash away as well. He has to be careful of a potential flank, though, that can collapse upon him from the side. He's managed to find Tux as well. Big frags to be seen. Disco good for one. Traded out. Can't quite deny the plant from going on down. So we move into a post scenario where Texter finds Wizard. An inch being given towards Order to get back in toward this one. Paint shells do miss their mark. Autumn in towards the kitchens as well. Can he cook up a storm for us with Texter here?
This one's going to be tough, but a 3v2 Order. Are they going to close this one out, or Wildcard going to continue to drag this one along? The Poison Cloud is out. RDW, though, he's going to be able to find it alongside Infrequent, and we are going to overtime number 2. This map is continuing to show what we expected. We looked at the matchups tonight. We saw Order and Wildcard, and we knew it was going to be an awesome match, and that's exactly what we're getting right now. As we'll see in the cheeky little Logitech replay that comes out. But man, oh man, Ninum, to be able to lock down 2 frags despite all the control being thrown by Order, that's a crazy result.
2 players coming through the long of B, 2 already going underneath the tube and on toward the site for that flanking potential. But in just finding those 2 impact frags, the most crucial frags on Wildcard's probably whole half on that side. Because remember, that was their strugglesome side as well. So they also repeat what Order have done. So it seems like you flip everything upside down when we get into overtime right now between these teams. It's a clean slate. It's a best of 2 rounds, one each side, as we do go again in OT. We do have a little cheeky pause coming on through right now to just get our thoughts together.
Tactical. Always good for a bit of a discussion at this point in the game. Tell you what would be funny. Imagine seeing like an A rush or something now. just all out, ball out, just go for it. Hey, sometimes those are the things that can catch people off, but no, man, look, I've got to admit, massive credit to these players. We've seen, you know, varying impact across the board. RDW has been an absolute menace with his Viper utility. Swirl has been great on the Sage as well. Certainly not the explosive kind of member that we expect. You know, I think he's had to sort of give the respect to players like Ninham and Infrequent to sort of sit back on the utility agents. We typically do see him on those flashy players, as you know, the Jet usually comes out in his pugs, and also the Astra I think is waiting.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you know, in this situation, obviously the Sage does reign supreme on a map like Icebox. So anyway, Autumn back with the operator holding towards B.
It's always a thing, though. If you've got so many sharp players on one roster that their aim prowess is something they rely upon, what role do you chuck them on? Who gets the tallest role in the end? And I mean, whether or not you change it up on the maps, that's a story for another day. For Autumn, we've seen this location be played with before. I remember he got the Infrequent from that position, if I remember correctly. Now he's got Ninham operator, so a little bit of a strugglesome start for Wildcard right now.
Doesn't even go for the tailwind either, so he still has that in his availability. Narrowly missing the second shot. Will be tagged up, but he does actually get the shot through. Over towards Yellow, jumping up onto the other side of the box is Infrequent. Nothing spotted out though. Swell will be able to get that spike planted. Tucks to find another. These Order boys are looking good right now, but Infrequent does deny. Dropping down Order.
Oh, no.
Snakebite available. Onto the spike. Infrequent though, in a 1 versus 4, and he's not going to be able to do it. Texter will take him down, and Order do find your 14th here. It's a tit for tat, back and forth right now. Are they going to be able to lock this one down onto the next side?
Well, again, they're going to have to, aren't they? Wildcard to be able to equalize it up and go at it again. I always understand the scenario that we see there at the ending of that part, you know, to get the snakebite down on toward the spike, to try and get them off the defuse and everything. But in that scenario, too many players of Order alive. RDW caught out again, as happened before. But again, I mean, you have to feel like you got to do something there to get them off the spike, right? If they are looking for the stick, and numbers advantage for Order. They played it very, very well on the back of those operator shots from why is my Autumn that wasn't punished.
Recon Bolt, no information early. Spike still dropped as well. So looking to play a little bit of a slower start, aside from that early creeping up from Texter. Disco shouldering out, nothing yet spotted early on. The Boombot will be taken down. However, those paint shells narrowly missing. So no expended damage early on. Just sort of starting to feel around that A site. Once again, Tux seeing if anything will push towards RDW in charge of locking down that B site. But they are going to face off in just a second here on Adeon.
Ninham's in a pretty precarious position right now as well, sitting up on top of the site. You can see all the bullet trails going through towards his position. Any inkling of where his gun is will find him.
There
but
it
that
is.
is a brilliant shot. Disco, you overstayed your hands there, sir. For the first frag to be seen by Wildcard is, you know, we look towards the A site, Mitch, but no. We go to B.
The pace does pick up. RDW has to rotate into that heaven area. Does actually choose to fall off as well. The Owl drone will not find his location. Toxic Screen to keep him up for a little while, and unfortunately for him, Texter actually does walk back into it, but
there's a wall.
Now looks to get the slow orb. Yeah, exactly. Defuse. Yeah, in the end, it punishes him for it. Cheeky
Wrong side
boy
of the gap.
RDW. Yeah, exactly. He did end up taking down the wall, but that was when Autumn decided to pipe up and find him back 4-on-4. This is for an Aldeon.
And they're already tapping out the defuse as well. The wall's going to go up. Big shot from Texter to at least establish that the trading on through. 2 versus 2 scenario. Tags out. The shotkeys are through as well. They missed the line actually there.
Wizard!
As Wizard's still alive on the defuse, and there's no way Tux can deny that one right now. Look at the wall placement. It's so vertical to force them to go wider out into the duel. And maybe that even tickled the start of Science. You can see that it went completely out of nowhere.
Man, I'll tell you what, it's so many like situations where it looks like people are outplaying themselves. But regardless, it means that we go to overtime number 3. I feel like we're going to become some broken records if we keep seeing the way that it does go. Hey, apparently it's retake central right now.
This is going to turn out to be the mirage of Valorant.
Oh, God, don't even start, man.
Well, Order back on this defensive side again, really hell-bent rather, on getting this operator in the hands of Autumn, and that's why he's found the opening pick onto Swirl this time. There's no heals available for Wildcard. There's no wall, no slows to path Order in toward a different scenario, a different location, slow the pace of them down. That is a big opener.
Exactly love to see from Autumn. So versatile, so confident in his lines. You know, peaking mid in overtime at a situation like that is very, very confident. And he gets rewarded for it. Tucks on an aggressive line. The old Viper face-off. Poison Cloud will come out. But looks like they are going to fall away from this A position. Already a lot of control established. Autumn not looking to push through that wall just yet. Waiting patiently as the decay does come through. And Wizard, apparently the old race car peak on the Sidewinder, does find one. Now it's back onto the 4-on-4. And it looks like slowly but surely Wildcard are making their way towards A.
Yeah, Wizards opened up the Grimoire and picked a spell that has absolutely just worked out for the decapitation there. See you later. But the 4 versus 4, 20 seconds. Wildcard have to get in towards the site. Remember, there was no Sage Wall now to kind of block out the site from Order's domain gathering. And yeah, you look at this time, it is ticking away way too far. Any impact from Order here can get them victory.
Needs to get it planted. RDW is good for one, but now Infrequent has to lock it down. The old Spike does come up, doesn't find anything though. Signed has actually picked up 2 in the process here. That means Wildcard's going to be down to this 3-on-2 situation. Now 1-on-3. Ninum, can he pick up 1? He's actually let the information go. No! The second, but it is going to be the James Bond style on the rope, flying across as Signed. Locks down 3, the newest addition, picking up in replacement for the Big Dick, and makes a play of resonance.
15 for Order. Again, a scenario where they have seen themselves in OT time and time again. They have always taken the lead, and it's Wildcard to come at them from behind. Wildcard have not gotten that first round in these OTs. We have a tactical pause coming through right now from Order to see what they can gather. They've seen it, as I've already mentioned. They've been in this position a couple of OTs now. They haven't been able to close it out, Mitch, and I can't believe I'm seeing what I'm seeing right now as well. 2 operators in OT from Wildcard. Oh my!
Oh, Infrequent. We know what he's like. Coming from a time where we were dominated by New Zealand AWPers back in the CS days, and Infrequent was one of the few that really could contest up towards the top. And that doesn't change on this game either. It was usually the primary, sort of sitting on that jet early on, but that's not him currently. So cheeky little Logitech replay again, showing what we just witnessed. Ninum could have gone big, but again, Signed, you love to see it. It's so funny that the accuracy does remain on the rope entirely. But swinging along, and yeah, we make it to 15-14. It's final round needed, or to take the tactical pause to, rub each other's shoulders, make some decisions.
Well. Let's see if Wildcard are going to be able to pick this one on. Recon dart Infrequent on that op. Misses the line as well. At least I guess you could say maybe for Order, they might think it's Ninum over here.
Yep, exactly.
They're the only thing. No Boombot, no satchels for Infrequent too, just the paint shells. He can't escape quickly.
Very, very heavy stack over towards this A site right now as well with 3. Just leaving the sole operator of Ninum. He did super well. We saw it earlier. Order tried for that wrap play in towards Kitchen, taking the control. Looks like Texter has made the call. Looks to make a bit of a play. Swirl, though. This position could be huge. Ninum has actually started to rotate back as well. They're looking to go for this one now, Neon. Split towards B, but the repositioning already from Wildcard is good.
Ninum has to hit shots again. He has to bring out that brilliance that we saw a couple of rounds ago, and he manages to find the head of Tux to start it on up. A little bit of delay in amongst the Kitchen as well from the slow orb right now, as Swirl still manages to find a pick in the round on the Texter. 2-player advantage for Wildcard, brought back to 1. Make it 2 again, Mitch, as they're getting it done from behind. Wildcard looking to push us again to another OT. It's down to the new addition in Signed, and there's no chance he gets onto the denial of the defuse here. We go at it again with Ninum finding the frag.
Broken records, it would seem. I believe every single defending side has been won. It's just been that whole way through in overtime. But man, oh man, it is proving again to be an awesome game here. Certainly feel like we've played our cards right on this match selection. But it seems to be that actually Disco and Infrequent are the ones that have slowed down a little bit, and the rest of the team have actually brought themselves all the way back. The assist game, of course, for RDW and Swirl. Wizard, Ninum firing up, doing really, really well here. But now what do we see? Looks like it's going to be a very, very quick play coming out from Wildcard early on. Look at Autumn, though. Will he spot out infrequent? He will! How does he get away with that, Dion? Ninum, though. 2 find 2. 2 find 3! Are you joking me right now, Ninum? Already all the way up. Swaps down the member below. And Ninum, this is absolutely clinical from the man. He's had enough. He doesn't want to deal with it anymore. Give him the ace at this point. He will collect. And Ninum brings Wildcard to 16.
You look at the start of that round, you wonder how the heck has the operator shot brought out the first frag, dropping him down. But Ninim, the absolute spectacle to come through from him. 5 on the round, 3 from the rifle, 2 from the blade storm. You think he's having a bit of a slow game, and he brings through that for Wildcard to get their first round ahead in all of our OT. Man, oh man, that was amazing.
You know what's funny? We spoke about an A rush. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Ninum here for Reddit. He does actually find the opener here as well, despite being tagged up by that recon bolt. The man has had enough, and he is going for impacts right now. Does fall back to Snowman. Final opportunity here, but Ninum does it again.
7 in 2 rounds.
Frags already.
Planted.
But now it's going to be to the post plant, Mitch. 2-player advantage for Wildcard. Recon Bolt going to get destroyed. The operator for Ninum has been superb on this defensive side. The rest of his team's deployment as well. There's no flank to be seen just yet, unless you count Tux. A very deep lineup of the Snakebite that's going to take a bit of time to get toward the floor as well. But now Wildcard getting into the retake. Wizard finds Tux. I'm getting a feeling that we're going to end it on a flawless from Wildcard as they take victory off of a mountain comeback from Order. And we're having a little bit of dance in the snow as well.
Cheeky little dance party from the boys, but it is going to be, as you said, Dion, Wildcard in an absolute monolith of a match that we have seen right now. 17-15, the victors over Order on the Icebox map. This is, again, map number 2, or game number 2 rather, for the Nova Invitational that we have just witnessed. Bring up the scoreboard for me right now. Look at that. Ninum to bring it up to 28. It was the Razors at the top. Disco, ACS as well of 315. Oh, Dion, I still feel a little bit broken down from that round. Ninum,
oh, yeah.
Wow.
Ninim, like the last 2 rounds there of overtime, if you want to know how to play like a jet, that is pretty much what you have to do. Just kill them all, get your operator shots, and then go at it again. That was absolutely ridiculous to come through from them. And as you mentioned there as well at the end, it did really feel like Disco slowed down a little bit, but he wasn't really given a chance with what Ninim threw out.
Man, all I can say is that was an absolutely electric map, and I can't wait to do it all over again. We are going to be heading back with Order versus Kanga, so we're going to take a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you all in a minute. We are back, and after an explosive previous match where we did see Wildcard be the victor over Order on Icebox 17-15, you now join us again for the final best of one on the evening on the Order channel. Of course, it is day number 3 of the Nova Invitational, brought to you by Logitech G. We're going to be checking out the standings right now, and it's actually Dion, Kanga, sitting atop the scoreboard 2-0, and then over the other side, Mindfreak have also been having a very good run as well. So unfortunately, we will be saying goodbye to Tiny Turtles and Bliss at the end of this one, as far as I'm aware, but the rest of the game running around, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah, it gives us an interesting feeling as well. Wildcard, of course, going to be taking on Tiny Turtles. We'll have Kanga now taking on Order as well. It makes things really interesting in what we're going to be having on here, of course. If you guys want to, if you see a team here that you want to follow, make sure you do check out the alternate streams as well to catch over those games. But for these ones here, Mitch, I mean, Kanga, they're sitting pretty on top. If they do gather this one right here, they are a pretty 3-0. And here you do have all of the matches that are going to be played right now.
Well, Kanga, spicy in those best of ones, as we do know. Make sure to give the rest of the guys love as well. Potato Fries and Tuesbees, Mindfreak versus Direwolves, 2-Tap Tony versus and Matsy for Wildcard versus Tiny Turtles, and Digital QF versus Cthulhu for Bliss versus Straight Out of the Zoo. Guys, again, massive shout out to all of our other co-broadcasters in this event. They've been doing a fantastic job. And of course, a massive shout out to Observing, being Crash and Roots, Bam on the admin, and of course Swifty, and also Big Dan for the graphics. So, Kanga roster, let's have a little dive in to see what we do have in store. The former Rip and Tear players, and really the only sort of change is Seiko, I suppose. He has made his way in a little bit recently after departing from Wildcard. Clutchy, obviously, on that Jet. Kind of crazy. Greg, usually the Chad Breach. Lukey on the IGL, and then Coro usually on those smokes. So anyway, great roster that we've got in front of us. But Dion, run me through Order. We've just seen them, but may as well take a cheeky little peek again.
Yeah, of course, if you've just joined us or for a little bit later on, Tux Autumn, Texter, Disco, and Steined, of course, being that newest addition into this roster. We've just saw some explosiveness come out from Disco on the Rays, likewise for the Rays over on the side of Wildcard in that previous one. But at the end of the day, the showstopper, pun intended, was the frags coming out from Ninim on that Jet. So really well placed on that. But Mitch, I mean, on this one here, as we're just around the corner from getting into the game, we have a third different map for our BO1s. We are going over to Bind.
Exactly right. Bind is a map that can be sort of very heavily defending sided, I guess. We do see a lot of versatility. We're going to be seeing, much different agents come out on this one as well. But the importance is here that Order actually do need to get a bit of a wriggle on in this one. They're falling behind slightly. So 1-1, we need to see them go big here. Kanga feeling good today. And is that a Viper I see on Bind, Dion?
Yeah, so I guess it's the whole meta shift of the Viper scenario. Me and you, we haven't really dived too deep into a lot of it to see the teams adopting the shift. So for right now, I mean, you look at Bind, it kind of is swifting on over into this sort of new dynamic of having a normal smoker, whether it be Astra or whether it be the Brimstone, as Greg is going to be bringing in right now, alongside your Viper, and it leads up to some really cool plays. Specifically for me, I bring it back to the other day when we had, your Viper, your Sova. There was the Sky and everything being brought on through as well. It was the flashes and the stuns and the recon and the orbital strikes, everything. It was amazing. And I think, if I'm looking at it, was it Kanga that brought that out?
I'm just excited to be here, to be honest with you, mate. It's, my first time sort of on this new Astra Viper meta that's all sort of running along on what we do have now on the map of Bind. We used to typically see such a sort of straightforward composition. It was very much always sort of that mirror matchup. But now, running out with the Astra on one side, the Viper on the other, this is sure to be electric. And I think it's actually, aside from the Sova, we have a completely different matchup of agents. And the Rays, rather, and the Rays. But still, that's cool to see. It's usually maybe 1 or 2 different, but we have 3 different selections, completely different structures set up, and that's going to be exciting. And there's the Explorer teaser.
And I think I was correct in my assumption before. It was the Brim, the Rays, the Viper, the Sova, and the Sky to be brought through from Kanga. Which you look about it, flashes, shock dust and pain shells, snake bites, orbital strike, Hunter's Fury. There was so much denial available on this map that it was phenomenal. But now we're going to see what everyone is going to be able to do in this one. It's onto Order to try and claim victory here, and then for Wildcard, I guess, not to get Order moving on.
Sky Smokes come down, and that will allow control of this site. Great opening pick from Coro. Autumn. going to make his way out, but they're already going to start to set that post plant. I think there was one member on the flank. Clutchy, though, does spot out Texter, but in the end, it's going to be Coro to find it. Very nicely done. Disco good on the recovery. We'll be able to at least take down Lukey, but it's going to be a tough retake here. Clutchy's in an awkward situation. 2 members inside the pipe. It's going to be on Sicko to try and help as much as possible. Ninum peak of his own venture, and that's a little bit punishing given what Ninum did to them in the previous map. Now signed in a one-health situation. Coro with 3, and that's going to be an opening round for Kanga in quite a disrespectful fashion. Taking the site in full confidence. Well done from Kanga.
Yeah. Straight in toward it, not giving Order any time to blink, any time to breathe around the site. And you could see with the afterplane scenario positions from Kanga as well. They were kind of stuck in amongst the site and the pipe and over towards the cubby as well. So they were relying upon a potential flank helping them in the mix. And it did in the end as well to survive with 3. Plan, of course, get a little bit of extra money. And we're not going to see the purchase come through from Order as we do over on the side of Kanga. Coro as well, picking up the 3 frags, has decided to go full ball to the wall and grab a Vandal.
Clutchy, not quite spotted. Has managed to get away. Still looking to sit at control inside Hookah. Autumn is already all the way down. Does narrowly miss with the Bucky, but now they know exactly where he is. He actually should be able to get out here as well. Great picks from Disco. Texter's there as well. A little bit chaotic in the secondary round. So much damage already expended. And Order apparently decided to throw the disrespect straight back into the face of Kanga.
Oh, they didn't grab the Vandal. Imagine a scenario where Order recovered a couple of these weapons and backed themselves up with the positions. The crossfires as well would definitely have been a little bit more scarier than what we may come to witness now. However, I will take it back if we see these pistols start to get something activated again, as one of those guns is going to be retrieved, the Spectre. See what they can dance with here. The TP's going to come out. Autumn gets one. But that's all he needs, I reckon.
Yep, now that was very, very nicely done. Clutchy's going to recover the Vandal here, and now the Molotov to go down. Tux does have the opportunity to get the... Oh, that actually might do some damage. Not quite. But now in the end, it's all on the Clutchy. 1 versus 3. There is 1. Can he go bigger? He's already found 1 in the round. Looking to find a second, but has to swing out. Disco gets it. And there we go. Very well done. The Aftershock forced them off the plant. And Order fight straight back with the first.
Last player standing.
Yeah, the pistols, they just get the job done in the end, catching Kanga off guard. 2 quick picks and then 1 a little bit later on from the shorty. In the end, good usage of the Aftershock as well to almost force the hand of Kanga to take those duels and get caught out in the middle of the site. So for Order, very, very well placed. We'll have a little bit of a belated bonus round for them in the next round after this one, because it is going to be that eco status for Kanga. See what they can do, and Order, they have a bit of a better purchase in it.
Already all the way down. Looking into the face of that flashpoint. Does get spotted out by the Recon Bolt, but nothing needed so far. They're going to be looking to retake control. I will be expecting to see a lot of the well over towards the Orbit Showers. Autumn. Good pick onto Sicko. Texter does find another one back, and does actually have to fight off with the Classic as well. Does get away. Great use of the paint shells. Paint shells from Disco. That's all on the Clutchy. Gets his head ripped off by Signed, and that is a very clean round. But at least well done from Kanga to get the spike planted.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to mention that there as well, with no real purchase up coming in toward that round for Kanga. All they were trying to do is tickle the economy of Order, get the plant down if possible as well to get some own money in toward their back pockets and maybe exploit a little bit of a weakness now that they can use later on, because we know that that's not going to happen again for Order. They're not going to be able to just give up the site once more. But it does mean that the guns are back in the hand for Kanga right now, Mitch, and there's a guns for Order. I'm seeing Signed as well, sitting on 6,700 credits. That does mean an operator very, very close for Autumn.
Don't need it just yet. Gonna hold on to what they've got, and they've got so much money in the back pocket as well if they are unsuccessful into the next, even the second round afterwards. So Kanga have got a lot of heavy lifting to do. That's a good position to be in on this defensive side of Bind. Obviously very, very challenging. Couple of stars in towards mid. Whether they will be used or not, we'll have to see. Texter. Let's actually fire one off, but it's going to be Lukey and Clutchy. Gets straight on in, finding the opening couple of picks. And now with control of U-Haul, Spike being planted. It's going to be a tough retake for Order.
And I was going to say, I don't want to see the Hunter's Fury be utilized by Signed here to just try and deny the spike from going down and catch anyone in towards U-Hole. We know that they're going to have to be methodical in their approach right now. Send in the Owl Drone, see what information they're going to be able to establish. There's no flanks coming through from Order as well. And there's an incendiary lineup for Greg that is going to be deployed nice and early on to keep Order at bay. And they're actually just going to call it right here. And they're going to go take this weaponry into the next round, where I am kind of expecting that Operator to be coming into play.
Yep. Just cruise on off, leave Autumn sort of, towards that long position. Go for the early picks, which he has been looking to do already. The old snake bite out from Koro just for good measure, but it looks like all of Kanga is going to be getting straight out of there. Clutchy may actually go down to Autumn, but Autumn wants to make sure he actually does live on here, and he should. So all members alive, kick on into the next.
It's a really smart thing actually there from Koro as well, right? He puts the poison cloud on the spike as well as a snakebite later on. You got instant -50 from the cloud when that touches you, and the snakebite tickles you down in about a second there as well. I've seen a little bit of clips where an opening engagement is like you throw the cloud towards your outside U-hole next to the teleporter and a snakebite at the same time, and when they land together, it's pretty much an instant death for anyone standing in it because they can't really escape it. They have to be really quick, and usually an operator could hold there or someone with a vandal lane, right? So it's always kind of fun to witness that one.
Super funny, man. It's always just that thing, right? Goes, hey, this character's not used much. Let's buff her very crazily. But anyway, that is what it is. Signed. That's actually fine. The first Autumn gets away with murder there, Dion, on the Koro.
Yeah, and that's the spike being dropped as well. Two-player advantage is nothing to scoff at. Order, they could pretty much just relieve a little bit of pressure on toward this round from themselves right now, but Lukey does take out the smoker in Texter as well. So it is going to be down onto the stronghold that Order are going to keep on their B site. Paint shells on in and a shock dart. It's not going to tickle Clutchy too much, but he is in a pretty sticky position if Autumn does swing out or really anyone reveals his location.
Autumn holding it down, playing the high ground, making it a little bit difficult for Clutchy there. Greg will be able to at least find the trade, but 26 points of HP, does have the orbital strike, does have the stim beacon, but he might just look to try and get out of there. Only one Sky Smoke available. And in the 2-2 scoreline, Order, again, continue to hold on to their economy. They haven't overinvested. Autumn obviously not going for the operator in the previous rounds. Now as he does move on in, he definitely looks like he's going to be going down here. But yeah, no, for sure. Disco locks it down. No need to do anything else. 3 members of Order, they live on. But again, as we know, on the defending side of Bind, you got to find as many rounds as possible.
It was really well placed out from there. Order, finding those opening picks. Autumn a little bit lucky potentially to drop the spike in Koro's possession when that kill was found outside of the teleporter. If Clutchy found that first frag there on toward the site, maybe there was a way that they get back into it. The trade did come out later on, but not really given an inch in that round. It seems like Hanga Order a bit of good grasping of it, and now they're going to have to try and do it again, I guess. They've got their money, starting to build up their economy, as you do say so. I've seen a Judge be purchased out as well, but this is your old reliable take onto the A site. Orbital strike in, see what you can do. However, they've been halted at bay, and now Texas Gun Koro is his prize.
As his body does go through the teleporter as well, the showstopper is available, but it actually doesn't get expended. Sign finds 2, but quickly traded out by Sicko. Tux looking to find it, yet to get on the board, and he's actually going to take a lot of damage. Does manage to find the frag, though. Now it's all on a Lukey. 1 versus 3, but look how he's been able to wrap around here. Obviously, the fault line doesn't take you off the defuse, or the plant, rather, but now in this situation, he's got his cage available. He's going to look to try and work around this as best as he can. If he pulls this off, but he is in the possibility to do it, I guess.
He's 1 or 2 bullets away at this point as well, same way as Tux, so he manages to find that first one, but all the crossfiring bullets are going to come on through, and there you have it. As soon as his gun barrel is seen through the cage, Disco finds the frag. Unfortunate there from Kanga. Not be able to find that round. They used a lot of their abilities. The Showstopper, the Orbital Strike, every normal PC utility as well in the round. And Order, they had the answer for it in the end. Great usage of the flank quickly as well by Disco and his own Showstopper to keep them contained. Very nicely done by Order.
It's a funny one, isn't it? Watching these two teams sort of match up against each other. Obviously, Kanga has the capacity to, upset. They're a very, very sharp team, super confident in their own ability. But at the exact same sort of situation, Order, they're super well measured. So when Kanga go for the all-out play, they get the orbital strike down towards U-Hall. They start to push through, but then Texter just sort of holds the Nebula and just, it's easy pickings, I suppose. So a little bit of disconnection there from Kanga despite the efforts made. Now Autumn looking to push down along. Nothing's going to be spotted early on, though. Never mind.
Big, ambitious peak from
Oh,
Autumn, and he
two!
manages to double down as well. Clutchy's just jumped out of hookah for just clutchy things and lost his life. So, I mean, a bit of a one-sided play from Autumn as well. You know, if Autumn goes down and loses his life, there's no way anything else happens in the round from him, maybe. But the damage, the impact, 3 kills. If he got a 4th one, man. Oh, my.
NT. Autumn tries to go big, and he does get at least 3, as he said, clutchy. This is what I mean, though, the disconnection, right? Just sort of very, very broken up right now. Lukey's trying to make a play towards U-Haul. Coro all on his way back towards the B site, rather. And he will look to go collect that, but yeah.
He's going to try and plant in it as well, and that's where you know Tex is going to take the duel. He's going to take it first a little bit early, a little bit preemptive as the aftershock goes down as well. It reveals where Tux was, but he'll fall back into a more capable scenario. 1 versus 3, you're definitely better taking that than a 1 versus 2.
Has the pit available. Will be spotted out, though, by the recon bolt. That does make it a little bit awkward. Got the snake bite available. Will bounce off the wall. Nothing spotted out, though, just yet. Disco is there. Not yet on the defuse either. Slowly going to start to make his way around. They do look to stick it, but he's already moved his way around. They actually do line up. But whoa, at least the confidence there from Tux was to stick the defuse. It would have been a challenge regardless from Coro.
I'm a little bit confused as well because he'd already put his poison cloud on the spike location. He didn't pop it at that duel as well to force them off it and make it a little bit easier. Because if you look at the scenario here, didn't pop it. It would have tickled Signed and taken his down HP by 52. Oh,
so many things to think about, I guess, in that situation. Yeah, absolutely. A good, valiant effort, regardless. They're now moving on into another buy. The money looking really, really good for Order here again. Autumn's going to have the operator in hand. 6.5k to boot. And now they are looking to quickly make their way up towards this U-Haul position. Clutchy running into his own paint shells. But the smokes are actually going to go down as well. So it looks like this should be the play onto A and the spike to go down. Viper pit expended, but Autumn will open up onto Greg.
And that's the planter as well. A bit of a pot shot going on through the Viper's pit as Autumn. Disco finding more frags into the mix. That means that there's no pit anymore as Coro has lost his life. They've got an open site for the taking now. Disco does get his frag on a Lukey, but Autumn gets that trade on out. Alrighty, Mitch. It's another one for Order. 6 on the board. Defensive strongholds looking plausible.
That's what I mean. It's just Order have got such a good contest against Kanga. You know, they don't get really sort of thrown. They're usually pretty confident in their defense. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. So pretty consistent across the board. Tux hasn't had a whole lot of action, but that's only just due to his positioning. It's been very much the Disco and Autumn show, as is per usual. Coro's had a good run so far as well. But across the board, you know, there hasn't really been a huge opportunity for Kanga to shine either. You know, they had those really, really confident opening round on the pistol, and they were quickly traded back and finally got their groove on a little bit more. But they need to get moving. I would like to see potentially 4 rounds for them to have a really good run.
Oh, and Autumn's looking to do it again down towards B long. He's found a multitude of frags doing this before, but for now, he'll take away the information from it.
Look at this position.
Extend out through the hookah.
Will he peek it, though? That's where it lies. You know, he's on such a close line if he wants to just sort of swing his way around that corner, which I'm sure he's confident and begging to do so. He does, but the timing doesn't fare. So they're actually going to start to head all the way into hookah now. Every single member. So Autumn's positioning is now void, but getting up close and personal. How do they actually choose to pay it out? Because they're going to rotate back out, Dion. Autumn should have one. And that's the information gathered on the rotate.
And Clutchy's going to be mad on the back of that as well. You just absolutely know it. He's your entry point in toward the site of A right now, and he's been taken on through. Yes, they have the smokes from Greg to still be deploying on through, but Disco with the pain shells is going to wait for the plant potentially to be tickled. There it goes. And there goes the lobbing of the paint shells to pull it on through. The gravity well as well. Remember, it'll take you off the defuse, and I think it's the same for the plant. So time bought for them to get in amongst it. And Autumn, Blade Storm close in towards the U-Hole Lukey. Oh, actually, no.
A little bit unlucky there. Texter does find one, though, and a second. Texter looking good, picking up the slack for the rest of his team. Lukey going to get his head ripped off by Disco, and it's all onto Coro, who walks into the crosshair. A rogue bullet from Texter. Nice little 3k on the Astra as they do lock down another round. But the old Cosmic Divide was used in that one to try and keep them away from short, so Order is certainly expending some ultimates, but they do still have the Showstopper and the Rolling Thunder available. So that is 7 rounds picked up, looking good on this Logitech G replay, of course. Once again, a massive shout to Order for putting on this event. The Nova Invitational, day 3. So got a few more days ahead as well, Dion.
Yes, sir. That is correct. Today we find out our top 4 teams, going into a double elimination bracket, which we can dive deeper into a little bit later on. But Mitch, right now, as you do mention it, Disco, Autumn, finding up the frag department. You got another player of Order that's sitting up there, 1 frag behind them right now. So certainly everyone's doing what they need to do. As the early stages of this round do provide the goods for some info of what Kanga are wanting to do.
So once again, going for that muscle up towards short. Disco, Boombot's going to give him a lot of information, though. Again, he does have the Showstopper available. Clutchy getting the paint shells down towards Showers, trying to isolate the position. There is the rocket. We'll find none actually, but Disco does find one. Texter! Oh my word, what a flick! Love to see it. A 4K for the big fella, the Glycogen Master himself. Will lock down an 8 for Order.
Big positioning to come through from Texter there as well. You can see that his stars were deployed on the default spot. Disco a little bit unfortunate that he doesn't find that kill off a Showstopper, but he got enough damage off that Texter could clean it on up for the remainder of them as well. And he found a frag in amongst the mix by finding information using the Showstopper. A valiant attempt again, I guess you could say, for Kanga, trying to catch Order off guard. But it's not really happening. Order changing their positions, having an answer for everything that Kanga have been looking to do. It's being a really good defensive side of bind for them.
I'm feeling it for Tux right now. He's basically just been sitting at the back, sort of playing the rotate game. Has had no real action either way. But that's okay, sometimes these things happen. Disco is going to get his paint shells down towards the Aldrone will spot him out, meaning he has to get out of there, but that is going to be the Hunter's Fury. Should actually be able to find him. Nicely done. Disco finds that opener and a second on a Texter. Good piece here, but oh no! Autumn, he's in such an awkward situation. No! What's going on? What are you doing? Clutchy! Why? Clutchy!
That's
why?
Whilst they know where he is right now. He's got 20 HP. They can try and shoot him to... Okay, they're going to use the ultimate. Now Autumn's done.
Oh man, it's just like anyone else.
Anyone else,
It's just Clutchy every time. I'm going to run in and try and knife him with the spike.
It would be okay if he ran out of bullets.
Yeah,
I think he had a classic though, so...
No, it's just funny because if Greg didn't have the orbital strike there,
Oh,
I think Autumn could have potentially even ran down the time.
Look, I know that they would have tried to shoot through. They probably send one person through the other side of the TP, use some util to open the doors. I think they would have had enough time to do that and then flurry it in, see what they can do. They know he had a pistol and an operator.
We're overthinking it now.
Yeah. Hey, they won the round. They won the Thrifty. It's the last round and a half, and Autumn's already found Clutchy. So, see you later.
There we go. Good recovery. And Autumn will be tagged up by the Aldrone, but apparently confident. He will be taken down by Lukey, so a good trade, a good response. Signed. Looking a little bit out of character there, sorry, is now Greg looking to find Disco, but that's always a hard jewel to find. Tux is also there, was on the flank, and now they are making their way over towards this site, but look who's there. It's Texter, and he's been having a very, very stellar matchup. Sicko spots him out, does miss it a little bit, but Texter does get away with it again. The Rolling Thunder to come out from Tux. Again, I'm here. I'm supporting.
I am still existing in this game, folks. Don't forget about me. And I guess he does buy enough time now to have something happen, but then no idea that Lukey is up in the heavens right now. There's one. Cosmic Divide was utilized.
No.
And that does disconnect the duel from Sicko as well. He has to push through. 41 points of HP. Good use of the flashpoint. He is stuck here with Spike down at the back of the site as well. It's going to be very difficult for him to navigate a path around this site cleanly, and rightfully so, as Disco does find the frag. 9-3 is your halftime scoreline here to close it out, folks, as we do switch on over with Order comfortably in the lead.
Order is comfortable. Absolutely. They are definitely feeling fresh still, despite the saga that we witnessed against Wildcard. Obviously, did end the way of Wildcard 17 to 15. Kanga, they've obviously already sort of made their way, sitting 2-0. If they were to find 3-0, it would have been a very, very crazy result. And there still is the opportunity now. They're going over that defensive side. It is bind, of course. But, it would suck to see Order go out so early, given how good of a team they are. We continue the interest. It looks like there might be a bit of a battle off if we continue to see the games go the way that they are. But anyway, Order is currently 1 for 1. They win this one. They do move forward.
And moving forward is what they're going to be doing on their attacker's side right now, Conky, to try and keep things in their path. Or maybe we say Clutchy's moving forward on this very ambitious flank. Everybody's going to rotate off the A side. Everybody's going to be around B. I'm just wondering who goes first casualty, and are we going to be a 5 versus 5 post plant? I doubt the last statement.
Clutchy, look at this. Already in the position, does spot out Texter, but a little bit messy there. He was actually, you know, inside his cosmic thingy-mabob, whatever
Astral
it's called.
form.
Astral form, that's the one. Cosmic something, but now it's Koro to find 2.5. Sicko does get it done. Astral form, Jesus. All right, just for everyone watching at home, I actually got Dion to quiz me on the ability names before, so I'm doing my best, okay? I've still got Adelaide brain on.
Hey, that's actually true. You have had a little bit of a hiatus for some,
2 weeks,
some
man.
in real life amazing things. Very good to, you know, I guess escape the world of esports at times, you know, reset yourself.
You say that like I wasn't watching stuff when I was over there, though.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I remember coming back home from the wine tour we had on Saturday, very, very blind-eyed, watching LCO finals. Pretty good.
Alrighty, Kanga, they do find the pistol here, Mitch. Order, they are trying to W key in toward the A site, get this round done and dusted, get the rifles back into their own possession, and see if they are going to, again, just really run away with this map. Koro, though, finding a couple of good headshots, giving some free haircuts out, and the body shot will get it done in the end. Clutchy picking up one with the paint shells. Flawless is what we want for Kanga there. Not dropping anything, but it does mean they are on bonus now, as Order are going to have some guns.
They are indeed. Koro actually looking pretty good though right now, as we see in this Logitech replay. Of course, coming out another flawless. But yeah, this is the movement that you want. You know, the consistency on this bind, the defensive side. And that's what I mean. You know, Kanga is in the pole position to knock out Order of this competition. Koro sitting atop of that scoreboard. Texter not too far away from him on the opposing side. Sicko, it's going to be done by the gravity well. That does have to fall away. Does have the owl drone available to go out. The Sky Smoke will split them, though, for the time being. So once again, it's just the usual sort of shower control early on, trying to get that positioning. And how do they play this bonus, though, for the rest of it? You know, they've not really taken a whole lot of control. They're just going to play the waiting game.
Well, Clutchy's got that judge posted up in hookah right now with a bit of utility to deploy as well. If he peeks on out, he's going to find Autumn lurking on through, and maybe he finds it as well because Autumn has a lot of angles to consider while Clutchy does not, and one shot will get it done. There's an upgrade as well. Paint shells for good measure to see if anybody is behind. That is why sometimes a judge in hookah is deadly.
Still going for the judge as well, locking it down. I suppose it's a good position to do so for the boombot. How does he get away with that? Clutchy living on for the second frag with the judge, and that puts the team into a very, very good position. That's actually going to send Order outside of the hookah for the time being, at least.
30 seconds.
Exactly. Tux is going to be waiting. They do have the opportunity to potentially go for that rotate.
Seconds left.
Texter dropping down a couple of stars in that astral form. But it looks like they will continue towards B.
Oh, Koro. Masked a little bit by the juices of the cloud. Toxins as Sicko as well. Caught looking in the wrong way. Lukey's turn to try and get something back in. But he gets peppered out by bullets. Now it's on to Greg. I mean, at the end of the day, this is that quote bonus rounds. 2 frags in the end. I'll take it for what it is. It's 10 double digits for Order now as we go back it with everybody having a purchase. So we're not going to see any operators on the side of Kanga and no blade storms or anything of the such as well, because remember, they ain't rocking a jet.
They're not. Only just that single duelist on Clutchy. But, you know, it's done good work for them. And I suppose on that defending side, it can be very, very challenging. You know, they've already gotten through the half where you do sort of need the reliability of a good duelist to create the space. You know, again, that's what we've sort of seen so far tonight. You know, Lou taking all of that control for the Direwolves. Explosive first game that we witnessed between them. And, of course, Bliss does manage to... Oh, that's a little bit unlucky there from Clutchy. Showstopper, and he actually does have to choose to run away in that teleport.
He's going to run a little bit of a marathon right now as well, as Tux manages to find the first opening frag on towards Koro. It's an earlier stage this time as opposed to last round, so Order can still navigate in case they feel the pressure here as Clutchy through another duel. We'll lose it on out. Lukey, though, manages to bring it on back. Order holding on to a player advantage now, but still very, very decisive in going over towards B. Make it naught as they TP over towards A.
Looking to move on around. The rotate does continue through. Kanga looking to try and take that position. I guess the main factor is they still have 45 seconds. They don't have to over-aggress on anything. And look at all of this control. The big man himself, Tux, he's made the call. He's sent the boys back over. But it is a long way to go. Sicko and Greg, they're going to be able to get to the position well and truly with enough time.
30 seconds left.
As Autumn is clearing out for his teammate in Texter. Even goes into the Astral form quickly as well, just to send that star down. So at least going to be able to isolate the position for a little while longer. Texter now gets that plan. Yep, exactly.
Oh, and the fadeaway from Tux there as well. Does spot some information. They know where they're coming from anywho, as Sicko does manage to find Autumn. The rest of the guys are going to escape from the site. Good reveal onto Greg as well. And they'll know through that where both of the players were, as Tux is looking to lock down the elbow. Cosmic Divide comes out. Tux dropping on the fault line too, but catches Sicko looking the wrong way. Now it's down to Greg, that he picks it up. 4K on the board. He's the brains, he's the brawn. And he gets some frags finally.
I just think it's crazy how much Tux looks like Breach IRL. Just jacked, 2 robotic arms.
One enemy remaining.
4K impact. And I was able to take the control of the site, bring the boys back, send it to B. And with that, they take 11, putting Kanga into a very, very difficult financial situation. But look, I think at the end of the day, Kanga's kind of just happy to be where they are right now. You know, they know that they've already sort of given themselves a good chance. Yeah, look, but I'm trying to think about it now. It's like, what? Because if Wildcard win and Order win, 3 lots of 2-1.
Actually true. Round difference then with overtime thrown into the mix as well, which would probably only account for 1 point. You'd go 12 to 13. I think. Again, we'll find out the formulations on that a little bit later.
Brain too much thinking about it right now. Hey?
For Order, the avenue in towards the A site, Rolling Thunder, they can send on in to disorient the players on the back of the recon dart as well to distract them, I guess. It's could be a very big explosive play from them.
Just waiting patiently. Again, the happy position for that one from Texter. On the way in, does look for that opening pick. Greg has missed a little bit. Autumn does collect though. Texter able to find one more. Now they look to get that spike planted as quickly as possible. The chicken to come out. Now the Aldrin as well. Heaven. Yep.
Gonna get destroyed. Autumn finding Sicko as well. That is just adding insult to injury. Clutchy with the judge is going to have to do something right now. Be the jury, be the executioner. Good for one and done. Now it is done to Koro, who has managed to get in front of his own toxic cloud as the flashpoint is a little bit too deep, as Autumn will decapitate him as well. And now Order, Mitch, they find map point with 7 padding rounds as well.
You should see what food my housemate has just dropped off in front of me. Kind of want this game to be over now.
Oh, okay then.
Nah, I'm joking. Nah, it's been an excellent evening so far. This could very well potentially be the final round of the night as well. Once again, day number 3 of the Nova Invitational. It has been a stellar competition so far. Massive shout to all the other co-casters as well that are bringing it through. I can't believe we have 4 active duos tonight. And the main thing is there's a couple of varied ones as well. You know, some differences in who would normally sort of pair up. We've got the 2 Tap Tony and Matsy combination. But then Cthulhu, Digital QF, you know, seeing that one. Using Potato Fries and 2SB is also another commonality. But everyone has been doing a great job. Now, can Kanga do a good job? They've got 7 rounds to close the gap.
I'm going to have to use everything right now. Orbital strike potentially to deny a plant as it's a 1-to-1 trade. Now it's more frags over to the side of Order. There goes the Orbital and they are losing out everything. This is the worst case scenario for Kanga. The flank's even being held. Sicko doing the due diligence to dispatch Disco, however. Hunter's Fury brought out from Sign, and you know he's going to get pressured here. Texter at least to assist in the department. And that's exactly why the buddy system, Clutchy, is fuming right now. It's all down to Sicko. Good for his 3rd. On 5 HP, he will need the ace. And they know he's low. The game shows how much damage you do. By all means, there should be no way Order falter from here.
It's just so funny watching Clutchy slowly sort of learn, you know, who he can get up against. And it's certainly not Order. Order will be collecting this one 13-5. They are your victors on Bind, of course. A nice and clean victory. Kanga certainly had a few shines of brilliance, but unfortunately it was not quite enough. And it was certainly all the text to show this game on that Astra, looking great, sitting atop of the scoreboard. But with that being said, Dion, everyone from Order did show up to the plate, where on the other side it was a relatively even sort of spread for Kanga.
I'm just remembering as well that one of those rounds that Tux had was the 4K as well, so a little bit of disconnection in the frags time and time again. But you look at it, it didn't really die, remember? The frags were over the other side of the map. All the action never really came towards his domain. But in the end, Order, they take away a pretty clean victory here, which does, as we talk about, make the proceedings for the bracketing system a little bit more interesting now.
It's funny, production did fang it into my ear just before, saying, don't worry about that, mate, let the admins sort it out. But I'm sure that we will have some information on where the standings are coming up shortly. You know, given that overtime, likely we are sort of running towards the end of the night anyway. Again, you know, it's been an excellent sort of run of matches that we've seen tonight on this main channel. It's been a stellar night so far. So running it back, Dion, remembering what we sort of had, you know, we did have the 13-11 in favor of Direwolves. No, is it 13-9?
13-9.
13-9, that's the one against Bliss. Very, very good game, of course. You know, we had various standing out in the previous. Then, of course, we had Wildcard taking down Order in overtime on Icebox, 17-15. And then, finally, we do have a bit of a quieter one on the side with Order taking down Kanga on Bind. So, at least we did have a little bit of variety across the course of the night. But I think we're just getting here. Josh, what do you reckon? There we go. Okay, we are going to be sending you guys, beautiful viewers, over towards the boys. And this will be, wow, okay. This will be very, very interesting. So prepare yourselves, guys. We're going to run straight on in to the raid to the 2sbees channel. Check out what we've got in store. We'll see you guys later on.